Jaws. 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 Jaws is the game where you try to fish out what's in the jaws of the great white shark.
I'm going for the camera. Made it.
But be careful, because if you remove the wrong piece, the jaws will get you. You're out. Jaws. It's you against the great white shark and each other from Ideal.
It's the Fembot, new from Kenner. And Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman, sold separately.
I'm Jamie Summers. Oh, no, you're not. I am. You're a Fembot. Your paralyzer gave you away. She's unmasked me. Now I have to disguise myself as a mystery baby. No one will recognize me. Not even Jamie. Ha ha.
Fembot comes with everything seen here. Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman, sold separately.
You look like you'd like
a nice Hawaiian punch.
Come on and go Hawaiian
With Hawaiian punch.
It's got a taste that goes with your face.
I'm making my case. You're liking the taste. You look like you'd like a nice Hawaiian punch. You like a nice Hawaiian punch.
You look like you like
More than just a cold drink. 7 real fruits.
Natural fruits.
10% fruit juice. What a taste. You look like you'd like a nice Hawaiian punch. You like a nice Hawaiian punch.
CBS presents this program in color.
13 historic years, J.R. Ewing has double-crossed his friends, betrayed his family, and destroyed his enemies. May 3rd, it'll all be over. It's J.R.'s Judgment Day. Dallas, trust us, it ends with a bang.
Hey, what time is it?
It's Podblast time! With special guests, open by Chance Toys YouTube channel. Yeah! Woo!
That's right. It's Podblast time. I'm your host, Chance Bartels, and our guests are opened by Chance Toys. I'll bring them right up. No relation to me. Just happens to be like my namesake, Chance. But this is a husband and wife team, and they have a toy museum in their home. They have a cat rescue charity. They're really great people. And now I'm going to bring them up for you to meet them if you don't know them already. And I'm disappearing. I need to get a green screen. Let me just change my camera shot right fast, quick. And I'll bring them right up. Whoopsie. Here they come. Open by Chance. How's it going, guys?
There we are. All right.
Hey, Chance. How are y'all? Hi, everybody. Sarah and... Oh, I can't see that.
Snark and Sass.
Snark and Sass.
Joe and everyone else.
And everyone else that's
all
in the room.
All those who may not want to chime in and say hello, and that's okay.
Yes.
And all of those who may watch after the fact, because that's usually where most of the views are.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Hi to everybody.
Yeah, Joe is in New York State. He's watching on Facebook Live. Sarah's in Southern California, and then Snarky's in Arkansas State.
Okay.
And Kay Moonen should be along shortly. He said he was all excited about having us have a combo show. But I want to invite you on because you've kindly interviewed me a couple times about the Angry Girlfriend variant, Amazing Spider-Man 14. We won't go there, but just to let people know. And then also because of the fact that I created the character of Madcap back in 1984 when I was 13 years old and submitted it to Marvel. And then Mark Gruenwald actually stole the character I called him Happy with a demented happy face. They just renamed him Madcap, put a hat on him, but they took the same costume, color scheme, everything. I'm still bitter, I'll be honest. But this is about you guys. You actually have a toy museum in your home, and we're also together in the state of Georgia. You're in the East Metro part of the metropolitan Atlanta area, and I'm sort of in the Cobb County area near where the Atlanta Braves play. Anyone knows the area of Atlanta, Georgia. But I'm really curious to know, like, what's your origin story? I know, David, you've told me you once had all of the Kenner Star Wars toys and more, but you had a situation with, these are my words, not yours, a crazy ex. Before we talk about the origin of your toy museum, can you tell me about that horror and heartbreak?
Yeah, I actually did an independent video on that years ago because I had referenced it a couple of times, and she wanted to film it just because people kept asking questions. And so we talked about that because I had, I do a lot of shows. I go to a lot of shows and I promote the shows and we film and, we do things like that. Like tomorrow we're going to the Retro Toy Swap in Powder Springs, and we're going to film it as a live walkthrough for people in case they're interested in the show. And I used to go to a lot of shows in the early 90s. I wasn't filming then, but, back then a camera fit in a suitcase. But I used to do Great Eastern Conventions a lot and whatever, and I got into toy collecting then. But back then, when I had the complete Thundercats LJN line carded and boxed, I probably paid $5 a piece for them. The Star Wars, I mean, you were pushing the limits if you were paying up to $100 for a carded Star Wars figure. So I had all of the American carded versions, mint unpunched. You could find perfect stuff dirt cheap. And I had been doing that for years and years and years, and I had tons of stuff. And my ex took it. She took it, and the judge ordered her to return my stuff. She never did, and basically got away with it.
Wow. So it sounds like she lied. And
as well as comics, because I had I was also doing comic shows, and I had tons of vintage gold and silver age comic books because I was into that as well. Stuff I'll never be able to replace, because I mean, when I got my first copy, I remember when I bought Daredevil #1, I think I paid $125 for it. In the early 90s, you weren't going to pay much more than that for Daredevil #1. How much is it now in a mid to semi high grade? What would you pay for Daredevil #1 in a 7 or 8 now?
Right. So $5,000 maybe at that high grade.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff I could never replace, and that put me off collecting for a long time, and then I just kind of got back into it after a while.
I see. And didn't you told me once off air that you, like I said earlier, you had all the Kenner toys sealed?
Yeah.
Of the action figures, the originals, like the original film, like the Grand Moff Tarkin and the Stormtrooper and the Han Solo, and wow.
Yeah, all the carded figures, all the American stuff. I didn't have the foreign stuff except for a couple of Japanese versions, like the missile firing R2D2. I had actually 2 of them in the box, stuff like that, and they were in decent shape because you could still find it back then. Now it's changed. I joke about it all the time, like ROM Space Knight, the ROM Space Knight action figure.
Yeah, Parker Brothers, yeah.
In the box, back in like 91, 92, you couldn't get $20 for one. People at shows had cases full of them. Try to find one now,
Wow. And you remember the 2 Han Solo heads in the original Han Solo action figure?
Yeah,
there was one that looked more like Harrison. Yeah, and it was a small head, but it looked more like Harrison Ford. Then there was one that was kind of an ugly head. It was like a bigger, uglier head. It looked nothing like Harrison Ford. Yeah. I had the original one. That was the original 1978 Han Solo figure. I still have it. But did you play with your toys a lot? Or did you, I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of stuff that's sealed.
Yeah, this stuff, most of what we have now is still sealed. We both collect like that. I had, when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot. So I played with what I had. Most of what I did have, I got myself. And, then I still had a desire for it, but I was getting older. So the interest in actually playing with it went away. But the desire to have it was still there.
I remember I was allowed to have one big Star Wars toy for Christmas, either the Millennium Falcon or the Death Star PlayStation playset. I chose the Millennium Falcon. Years later, I still have a sealed, thanks to a girlfriend, a sealed Death Star PlayStation that she found in 1997. And I love that. Because as you know, it has the little rubber monster from the trash compactor. You just saw in the movie his eyeball pop up, but he looks like a dragon. He has a tail and he's green, at least in the Kenner version. But so what is the origin? What inspired you to create and establish a toy museum? And when did it start?
That came up about 2018. Actually, we contributed to, if you heard of him, MIB Master Museum, Johnny Shendrick. He has a YouTube channel. And we used to watch him when he first started. And he has his toy collection in his basement. And he used to say, this is his museum. He's a curator of this museum. And we used to laugh and think it was funny. But then once we started collecting and putting it up, and we saw what it actually looked like, it do look like a museum. I mean, we have vintage and modern pieces, but we keep it display ready, clean and everything. So it do kind of look like a museum. And when people see it, it takes them back. Because when you go to a museum, you're admiring something in the past. Sometimes, I guess, some modern stuff, but mostly stuff from the past. And that's what we have. But we got to give the credit to Johnny Shendrick, MIB Master Museum, because he used to say that. Well, he still does. And we just stole it from him. And we told him we did. We stole that idea from him.
Plus the way we have it displayed, and you've seen the old one, but we just moved recently.
Yeah.
And where we are right now is like a lounge area, because there's 4 big interconnecting rooms here. And so the next room over is toy room 1. And then the next 2 will be toy rooms 2 and 3. And in here, we have media and comic books. Like you see the old spinner rack back there.
Yeah.
With some Batmans on there.
You got that for a steal of a deal. You said on your stream, Open by Chance Toys YouTube channel. They're live every Saturday night. It seems that they've been pretty consistently, and they're on time. Unlike me, tonight I was on time because I wasn't going to disrespect my guest. I'm always a little late, but they are consistently on time, and I think that is a really class touch. But you tell people how you found those racks, will you? Unless you want to keep it a secret.
Well, this spinner rack and then this end cap display unit. They were together.
Yeah.
And they're both I'm pretty sure they're 80s pieces. I think they're 80s. The topper is missing from the spinner rack though. But we were at an estate sale. We just thought we'd check out an estate sale. It was some guy who he had a really interesting history actually.
Yeah, it was sad.
He had passed away. It was sad. And they just wanted to liquidate his stuff. And he had all this memorabilia from World War II. He was a sailor in the World War II. He built and raced stock cars.
Yeah. And he was a football player. He had a whole splash page.
Yeah, there were newspaper articles about him playing football. And he had an interesting life. And apparently he collected comics too. They didn't put the comics out, but they had these 2 racks were sitting in the garage. And, anybody who collects comic books has an eye out for at least the spinner rack, never mind the end cap display. You never see these. The spinner racks come up from time to time. And it's like, what do you want for the magazine racks? $30.
Whoa. Sure. Yeah, and we got both because you see on eBay how much a spinner rack costs.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And so we worked that out. But the guy, whoever it was, it would have been nice to just sit and talk with him.
Yeah, it looks like he would have been really interesting.
Yeah, because just going around the house, I mean, he had his whole life documented. You saw books of him with these race cars. You saw pictures of him in the Navy. You saw pictures of him in, dressed in his football uniform. Like I said, he had a whole splash page in the newspaper. He just looked like a real interesting guy that you could sit down and just like, wow, you did that. You did something in your life. You wasn't just around.
Yeah.
You know?
Didn't just hang around for your whole life.
Oh, there's a question from Joe Gutfeld in New York State, around New York City area for each of you. And it's on the screen now. But those listening at Fistful of Radio or Apple, I'll just read it. It says, well, the question from Joe is, what is the one item you'd love to have in your museum collection that you don't have?
Well, there's a lot of pieces that would the finish collections. Like I have the complete Kenner Steve Scout and all mint boxed and carded, except for the Jeep. Or Inhumanoids, I'm still looking for a boxed Decompose and a carded Liquidator. You know, there's a few onesie twosies that would complete sets.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of, and you can't find them. Or one that I would really love would be the Product People Frankenberry in the box. I have the complete 70s Product People line, little vinyl figures of like cereal and other food mascots that were produced in 74, 75, except for Frankenberry. That's the one I don't have.
Yeah. And I would like to have a King Randor on the card from Masters of the Universe, the original from the 80s. And I never seen it in the wild. I've seen it on eBay. It's always graded. I've never seen it not graded. It's either graded or loose. And it's always like $900 to $1,000. It's always some ridiculous price.
Because she has an extensive vintage Mattel Masters of the Universe carded collection.
Cool. Yeah. Keep going. My audio cut out. I'll be right back. Just keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt. I can't hear you, but I can fix it real easy. Sorry.
Okay. So I would like.
Can everyone else hear us? Let me throw that out there. If you can hear us, let us know.
Yeah, send up a message letting us know if you can hear us or not.
Yeah.
What else I would like? I would like to have a 6-scale Batmobile from the '89 Batman. They had a Hot Toys made of they call it 1/6 scale, but you know what it is. But they had a Batmobile, and that was really nice. Prime One Studio made a Swamp Thing. I love that thing. I love that statue. It's a statue that I would really like to have. Yeah.
Cool. And you know, my favorite toys were Ideal Toys in terms of the manufacturers, and Kenner Toys, big Star Wars fan. And I like the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman Kenner toy line. Yeah. And I know, David, you have an affinity for the Marx toy line. And there was some sort of set you're looking to complete. Maybe you've already completed it by now.
Marx?
Yeah, I thought it was Marx Toys. It was an action figure set.
Oh, you're talking about the Plastimarks, the south of the border Marx.
I was like, yeah.
They're the 8-inch versions, and they're the 80s versions. And I'm missing two. I'm missing two from that line, but I don't know if they ever made them or not because I've never seen them. So, you know how it is with some of that stuff. I don't know if it can really exist. They're pictured on the back of the box, but that doesn't mean anything. If you like that kind of stuff, you get a kick out of my I've got the 1963 Ideal Beverly Hills Jalopy.
Wow. Yeah, we did a video on that a while back when he first got it. We found it at the retro toy fair.
Because it still works. Mine still works. So because for those of you who don't know, it's about 23 inches long.
Yeah,
and it's a wind-up toy. and it's got all the family members or figurines that sit in the jalopy, and you wind it up and you let it go. But it's like probably one of the flimsiest things that Ideal ever built because it's all blow mold. And then the wind up mechanism is a spring inside of the equivalent of a paper towel tube underneath.
Yeah.
And so, of course, as you can imagine, hardly any of those made it. But I've got one that's in working condition.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. This thing works. But you'd probably get a kick out of that.
Oh, for sure. And I noticed you have a lot of movie tie-ins. You have a lot of the Micronauts. You got the Shogun Warriors, those nice giant action figures and monsters. You've got Godzilla. Man, your videos are so great. And what I want you folks that have never heard of Open by Chance Toys, and if you haven't, why haven't you? Because they have a huge YouTube channel. I think their content is better than the stuff you see on Collector's Call on MeTV. And I like when they go to shows. They go to record album shows, they go to comic book shows, and they go to toy collector shows. And they really make you feel like you're there. They don't make it about them. It's about the experience. It's about the items. It's about the hunt. And I think that's really unique. You really don't make it about you. Now, in terms of their great personalities, they go live, as I mentioned previously, Saturday nights at 7 and just talk to the chat. And there's so much knowledge between the two of them that they don't even need to have a script or anything. I mean, it's just conversation. And that's why I'm addicted to it. I love it. And they go about 2 hours Saturday night. And you used to start, I remember, at least when I first discovered you, on holiday weekends, but you've been pretty much almost every Saturday night these days at 7 o'clock sharp Eastern time.
Yeah, when we first started going live, we would wait for a long, like you said, holiday weekend or something like that. But, you know, when we're not busy or there's not a lot going on, we'll go live almost every Saturday. And we miss a few, but nearly every Saturday, yeah, we'll go live, chat with people, talk, and, you know, just shoot the breeze. That's what we do.
Yeah, just for a little bit. I've gotten that a lot, actually, because I do the way I do the live walkthroughs when I go to these conventions. I guess no one else does it that way. The way that I do it. Because I've had a lot of people tell me that it feels like they're actually walking through the show with somebody and just having a conversation with someone, which, you know, which is a good thing, because then I guess you get a good feel for what it actually would be like if you were there.
Yeah.
And I've had people approach us at shows and say they came because they saw yesterday's live or something like that. I've had that happen at Toylanta and Joe Lanta and a bunch of shows where they're like, yeah, I saw you guys yesterday. And I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to go, but.
Or they saw something in the video.
Oh, yeah.
So then they wanted to come to see if it was still there because it's something they've been looking for. So that's always nice. And that's what it's about. That's why we do it. You know, bring people there, not just, you know, say, okay, we're here, but show people what's available and that there are things in your area. Because I know when we first moved here, it was like, man, big as in Atlanta is, they have no shows. But once you find one, then you start opening up to others, and you go online and you look for them. And when we go to shows, we pick up all of the cards and we see where things are. You can find them on Facebook, but you do have to put in some legwork to find it.
So no film of like people's feet
or people's back,
or looking at things over my shoulder, or or fast forwarding like crowds and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to avoid all of that kind of stuff and just have a good time with it.
Yeah, because when we started, I used to do the filming, but then we would show it like a day or two later, and it's like, oh, it's too late. But if you film it live, again, people have stopped and came that day, or if it's like a 3-day show, they come the next day or something like that. So it's better live.
Yeah. And you have gone live a lot, and it's unfortunate at the comic book show that we go to a lot at the what is it, the Marriott Century Center.
Yeah, Century Center.
Been around since 1992, this convention. It's always on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. But they have terrible Wi-Fi in there, at least with my service. I never can get a connection in there. I've tried to go live and it's all watery and everything. That's frustrating. But I like that record show. We met, I think the first time we met was at the record show in Marietta, meaning vinyl records, record
and CD show.
Yeah, that's a great show.
It's a big show too.
It is.
Yeah.
I love going there because just like everything else is a target of opportunity. So you go not expecting anything, and you just look for stuff and you always find something. And you always find some good record stuff you didn't realize or forgot about. And that's always great.
Because that's what people ask us all the time. It's like, what are you looking for? Nothing, because if you have a list, you won't find it.
That's
or if
right.
you do find it, it'll be so expensive, it'll make you sick.
Yeah.
And then you'll miss something else because you're too focused. You got blinders on because you're like, where's this? Where's this?
Yeah.
And then you'll miss something entirely. So we just go by the credo of target of opportunity. And so we'll catch something that fits.
Yeah. And I mean, when we first started going to toy shows, we did toys, comics, and even a record show. We did write a list. Okay, I'm looking for this. But then we noticed, like David said, when you do that, you see nothing else because you're only looking for what's on the list. So after a couple of times, we stop and say, okay, we're just going.
Yeah.
I'm going to just look.
You notice more.
Yeah.
You notice more that way.
Yeah. You don't put your limits on yourself that way. You just go out there and see what's there.
Very cool. I'm going to show you a couple records. I know, David, you both gave me this neat record, this Disco Battlestar Galactica record. Let me change my camera shot so folks can see it.
He's working on it, folks. There he is.
I'm working on it. And,
hey, that Silver Surfer number 4 behind you?
Yeah, these are all my copies. I took a photo of them. Let me duck down. Here,
I just worked on that one for a client. I also clean and press comic books professionally. So I just did one of those like 2 weeks ago for somebody.
Yeah, that's the first appearance also of Silver Surfer and Galactus in the upper left corner, Fantastic 448.
Yep.
And yeah, I can show you really quickly. Let me put you back on the screen. But yeah, my copy of number 4, I could probably use your services. I need to hire you. This chair out the way because it could use a little cleaning. But that number, you can't see my Silver Surfer 2. I have all 18 of the Silver Surfer Volume 1.
Okay.
And I did a live video showing them all. I took photos of the books and everything. But my issue number 2, is immaculate with that purple cover, but you can't see it there, so it's a moot point. But
yeah,
let me take that off, actually, that backdrop. Let me see here.
And so, we're off the air. No, just
really. Man, I want people to see the record that you guys generously gave me. There it is. Isn't that cool? And it's George Morardo. He did the big hit song in Flashdance, among many other songs. What a Feeling.
Yeah.
And he worked on Superman 3. He did a Shaka Khan song, but it's a really good listen.
That is so 70s, though. That's the thing. It's so 70s.
It's sealed. You didn't give me some beat up copy. It is sealed. It's still sealed. I wound up buying one on eBay so I could listen to it. I didn't want to open it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then look at this, guys. I got this Japanese import, and it got in 3 days. Look, there's the records. I love that little Japanese lettering in yellow right there, a little wraparound
thing. They always have that paper strip.
Yeah.
I love that. And then this is one I got years ago at the Lakewood Antique Flea Market when it's still downtown. This is a cool James Bond 21st anniversary soundtrack album. It goes through the film A View to a Kill, which was released that year, 1985, when this record came out.
Duran Duran.
Yeah, it's instrumental version, so it's non-official. I'm sorry. It goes through the movie I won't say on the air, Octo You Know What. I'm sorry, I messed up. It's 1984. View to a Kill's not on this at all. But it goes through. And that was an interesting year because in 83, you had 2 James Bond movies. You had Never Say Never Again by Warner Brothers with Connery returning. And then you had Roger Moore in Octa, You Know What?
Yeah, and the Never Say Never Again was a complete ripoff of a previous film.
Thunderball.
because Eon Productions didn't have the actual technical rights to the other film. That's right. And you could play the two side by side and everything's identical except for one looks like it was filmed in the 70s and one looks like it was filmed in the 80s.
That's right. And they couldn't even use the Bond theme by Monty Norman. Dun, 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 dun. They couldn't even use, they didn't have the rights to it because that was, as you said, Eon Productions.
Eon Productions.
Oh, right. Well, I want to ask you a personal question. How did you guys meet? Like, was she your nurse or what happened? How'd y'all meet?
We met online.
I'd be so lucky.
We met online on a dating website.
Oh.
We met, when was that? Like 2010, I think.
Very nice.
2010. And
because this year, this September, we'll be married 13 years.
Yeah.
And
congratulations.
And we knew each other for 2 years prior. So
Yeah.
in September, it'll be 15 years we've known each other.
Yeah. So we met on a dating website and it was a long distance relationship. And I don't know, I didn't realize that Topeka was in Kansas for whatever reason. I thought I saw Topeka, but I thought it was in Alabama. And I was like, okay, that's not so bad. And then, so we started talking on the phone, and then he came to visit, and Brian and I realized that Topeka was Kansas.
Further.
Yeah. And I don't know why that just left me there for a minute.
Because I put that whammy on you and you didn't realize.
Yeah. So we just started visiting each other back and forth every month. We would see each other once a month. He would come to Georgia. I would go to Kansas, and we just went back and forth until we got married.
Very nice. Very nice. And David, you grew up in the Boston, Massachusetts area, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have cousins there. I've been there over the years when I was younger a lot. I even saw the Boston fireworks in 1984 when I was a kid.
I've always heard that was nice.
On 4th of July?
Yeah, in person. Sure did.
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know, because unless you've been there, you don't know. You do that at the Hat Shell on the Charles River. The Hat Shell is there where they play the Boston Pops, and the Pops play the song, and for the loud intervals, because the classic song, I forget the name of it, da 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 boom boom. The Navy is out there and fires cannons for that part, and you can feel the shockwave going over the crowd.
I remember it well, my friend. I was like maybe 12 or 13, but it was so exciting. And I was with my older cousins. So in those days, you only had to be 18 years of age to buy beer. It wasn't 21.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were drinking. I wasn't, of course, but my aunt and uncle, they own property up in Maine, and they have a camp. And so after the fireworks, we went up and stayed. They have cabins, and they have 2 cabins that had a generator. So there's electricity. And anyway, but nobody cares. But where did you grow up, Lady Pop Hunter?
In South Carolina, in Yamasee, South Carolina. Small town in the middle of nowhere.
Wow. Joe Gutfeld is commenting. CBS used to show the Boston Pops and the fireworks show. They still do, I think, on PBS now. It's not on CBS anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's on public TV. Yeah, I don't know. I have a guy who named Danny Staten. He's in South Carolina, kind of like in a rural area like you're describing, Lady Pop Hunter. I don't know where he's at. Maybe on the replay. He always watches the replay. He'll leave a comment.
Okay.
He always goes, "Greetings from South Carolina." He's got a real thick Southern accent. Well, I've got a question for each of you. This is such a hard question to answer, but I've already asked you about your favorite toys. What about your favorite record albums? I don't want to limit it to just one, because I mean, what are your top 5 record albums? Or if you need time to think about it. Because I know I hate when people spring a question on me like that, because it's like there's so many that I love, right? There's so many different genres. I like rock. I even like disco. A lot of people make fun of me because I have an affinity for disco records.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with disco.
Yeah.
No, I like classical music as well. Country's probably the only genre I'm not that knowledgeable about, or it's not that I have anything against it. I just don't have many country albums in my collection. But what kind of music? I like R&B. I like soul. I like jazz. What kind of music do y'all like to listen to, or do you mix it up?
Yeah, we don't adhere to a specific genre. So our tastes run all over the place. We've got, or it's not like on Blues Brothers. What kind of music do you play here? Oh, honey, we play all kinds, country and Western. But we have stuff from all sorts of different genres. Everything from Elvis to the Beatles to the Fat Boys.
Yeah.
You know, and we enjoy it all. So.
One thing that I really don't like, I do not like jazz. So anytime if I pull out a jazz record, I'll hear it and I'll put it in the Goodwill pound.
Yeah, it's like someone said on the radio show I was listening to. He goes, "It's like someone's just struggling to find a note in jazz." That's what it sounds like. Someone's just trying to find the right note.
For some reason, I just can't get into jazz. It's just the instrumental kind or the singing kind, especially when they're doing the scat and all of that.
Scatting.
I just really can't get into that.
Mel Torme for you. Oh well.
And I don't like classical.
Hey,
now, if
there is a good scat song, it's Scatman John.
Didn't know that. I don't know.
That's fun. That's just fun. It's a 90s. It's the last time you'll ever hear of scat anywhere, I guess, but it's a 90s thing. And man, those records are hard to find.
Yeah. And big band. I hate big band.
Okay. Not a big fan of Tommy Dorsey and that's well, what about soundtracks? Do you like soundtracks, Lady Pop Hunter?
Yeah, we got a lot of soundtracks. Love soundtracks. Love compilation albums. But we listen to classic rock, yacht rock, what they call it. Love the Beach Boys. Got to have all my Beach Boys records. My goal is to get every one of them, to include Carl Wilson, Brian, all of, because they did their own individual ones. Working on my Elvis. Just got the Elvis. They put out a Sunset Boulevard that came out today. And it's a compilation of all of a lot of his stuff when he was in the studio. So you got a lot of the outtakes. You got some stuff that didn't make it to the mainstream. So that I got that in today.
She just got the Cold Slither album.
Yeah, Cold Slither from G.I. Joe.
Because the one thing SDCC's done right in the last decade, they got a metal band to cosplay as Zartan and the Dreadnoks and sing not only Cold Slither, but did 10 other songs that fit with it.
Yeah.
That are like Dreadnoks related, I guess. And they performed it on stage there, but they did cut albums.
Yeah.
And so she just got that.
Yeah, I got that in today. No, I got that in a couple of days ago, and that came out good. So yeah, we listen to R&B, we listen to rap, and we listen to our music every couple of days. We'll sit and just listen, and we listen to it randomly. You know, it's kind of random.
Look at Chance trying to put a puzzle together here.
Yeah, I am. Anyone that's watching, sorry, listeners, I was screwing around with the settings on StreamYard to try to make their image big and then mine little so we can both be on camera at the same time. But they have so many cool things in the background, like that Rod Serling Twilight Zone poster I see, and of course the comic book rack that you talked about earlier. Great stuff. And you're still setting up your rooms, obviously, right? Your new toy museum.
This is close because there's a few other things we want to do in here. I've got the jukebox in here. There's a lot of vintage video game consoles behind here. You might can see some of them peeking out from behind Rod there. The comic books are in here. And the next room is the Toy Room 1, which is pretty much together. And then I've got to build up Toy Room 2 because Room 2 is going to take a lot more work. But it's 4 big intersecting rooms.
Oh, wow.
No, I never heard of the show Elvis Files.
That's Joe asking a question.
Yeah. But I got a lot of Elvis tabloids. I got because
Yeah,
I
she
like
collects vintage tabloids.
yeah, I like tabloid magazines and you know, like the Enquirer and all of those ones. I'm trying to find the ones with Bigfoot and the aliens and that kind of stuff. But I
That's
always
World News.
Yeah, we with Bat Boy and the like.
yeah, those are the ones I want. I always find the one with Elvis. There's always Elvis, which I like. So I got a few, but I'm gonna be on the lookout for some other ones. Oh, the show is on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
50 years.
Yeah, in 2 years it'd be 1977. That's right.
Another cultural icon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Joe corrected me about he says the Boston Pop show used to be on CBS, as I mentioned, but he said the CW network showed it this year because PBS shows the Washington D.C. 4th of July fireworks. Yes, they do. There's another public one. Okay, I guess I'm wrong because I couldn't find the Boston Pops. I was looking for it to record it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I still have cable TV. Oh well. Thanks for letting me know.
There'd be Arthur Fiedler in the Boston Pops back in the day.
Oh, it was hosted by Bill Bixby.
Ooh, one of my favorite actors. Yeah, The Incredible Hulk, The Magician, my favorite Martian, Courtship of Eddie's Father. He sadly died on my birthday, November 21st, 1993.
Oh, wow.
From prostate cancer, which could have been prevented. He didn't get, hate to say it, on a colonoscopy. I mean, it was in his biography. He refused it, and it could have detected the prostate situation early. But anyway, not to be morbid.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you have but you don't like classical in terms of soundtracks. Do you just like the soundtracks that have rock songs, or do you like instrumental soundtracks like John Williams, just the ones that have actual songs?
Well, it depends also because like I've got the soundtrack from, for example, The Black Hole. You know,
oh yeah, Disney's Black Hole,
which is actually really excellent music. I've got the soundtrack from Conan the Barbarian, which has some really good, what you might call classical music, stuff like that. Certain soundtracks like that. I have a few of those.
Mine are usually from movies. So movies that I've seen, I usually have those soundtracks. Yeah. So it's usually somebody singing or whatever. And that's what I like.
The soundtracks that David described, like for Black Hole, that's great to listen to when you're driving or when you're stuck in traffic or trying to maneuver around traffic. You know, it's like you feel like you're in a video game or a movie. At least that's what I do in my mind to try to deal with the stress.
The Black Hole is a very historically significant film. A lot of people don't even realize. I think it was the last American film to have an intermission, for one thing. In the middle of the film. It was the first film to have CGI because the opening scene where they show the grid painted across the screen to demonstrate like a computerized look version or video game looking version of the black hole forming was an attempt by Disney at CGI, using computer graphics for that particular, or the first computer graphics, I should say, in a film. So there's some interesting tidbits from that film, because prior to that, everybody had to draw everything. Like when you watch 2001: A Space Odyssey and you see all those screens, there were no screens. Somebody had to go over there and hand paint on every cell all that motion and all those computer screens, which is incredible work.
Yeah, and that takes it a step further than just a matte painting, where you just see like a painting around live action. You're talking about cell by cell by cell. That's
and getting it right.
Yeah.
And now we have CGI and it looks awful and fake.
Yeah.
And cost 10 times as much. It doesn't make any damn sense.
Oh man, yeah, Black Hole. I haven't seen that movie in years. Maximilian Schell was the villain in that movie.
Yeah.
And another thing, you just touched off so much nostalgia talking about that, because I think of stop motion animation like Clash of the Titans, Ray Harryhausen stuff, his last big movie or his last movie, and even The Empire Strikes Back with the AT-AT Walker. You know, I feel like
yeah.
there was no need to update those special effects in the special edition.
You know what's fascinating about it too is how complicated it was, and they still get it right. Like if you think of the 7 Voyages of Sinbad, Ray Harryhausen, you mentioned, and the scene with the skeletons, okay, and he's fighting like 5 or 6 of them. I forget how many, but he had to write out choreography for the actor's movement so that he could basically do this dance after he had done the fight. So he envisioned a person there that wasn't there, had all of those skeletons moving all at once around him, swinging swords and shields, and then taught this guy the steps so he could do that in a blank spot on camera, and then they superimpose the two together and they fit. You can't get anybody to do that now.
No.
You know,
no.
They'll green screen it and you'll look at it and say, wow, that looks fake.
Hey, Chance, you put that last comment back up. I was trying to write. Yeah, I want to write the names of that down.
All right. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I think about that all the time. Or come on, talk about the practical squibs in RoboCop.
Oh, yeah. I buy that for $1. Yeah.
Yeah. The practical squibs in any of those films, you know, and then look at the CGI squibs.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't look right at all.
Well,
go ahead, dear.
Sorry, Chance. No, I was gonna say the practical effects because they built all of the sets. I mean, they built the vehicles just like the hovercraft, and they put the mirrors on it so it can look like
she
it's
means
hovering.
the land speeder in Star Wars.
Land speeder.
They put a mirror under it.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
I mean, they did, but nowadays they rely so heavily on this technology, and you would think that the technology would make it look better, and that you can do more. But it seems like it makes it look worse and you can do less because it seemed like they did so much more because Superman was flying without CGI. Now they got all these people flying all over the place and it looks like a cartoon.
or what was that Bond film where Sean Connery was in Japan? I'm trying to remember.
You only live twice. You only live twice.
And the volcano. You've seen the volcano. The volcano lair. They built that was a real stage. That was a real set with a real door on the roof that opened up that an actual helicopter flew in and out of and landed on a swinging arm platform that they built for it with a monorail going around it that was like 8 stories high. And it's like, God, they actually built that thing. Now you dance around in front of a green screen.
Yeah, you go to a warehouse.
And then it looks fake. You're like, it doesn't look right.
No. And then even like the most common things, like I watch I love cheesy disaster films. They will CGI cars and you can see that it's sliding. It's not the wheels turn, but you can see that it's sliding. I mean, you couldn't go outside and drive a car and film it.
Maybe it was icy. Yeah, you can't film it.
Look what they did with Superman the movie, Lois Lane's car in the earthquake. That was real. That looked great when her little ridiculous red car, old looking car, went into the crevice of the earth. That was so cool. But I love disaster movies too, like Poseidon Adventure, Earthquake, Towering Inferno, the Irwin Allen Master of Disaster movies. Those are great fun.
Oh, Earthquake. Yeah, I mean, they wrecked an entire studio lot, and they spent like 13 minutes doing it because that's a long. That scene lasted longer than any earthquake. Well, Earthquake only takes like a minute or two. These guys, this went on and on and on. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah, and John Williams did the music in all those movies too. Superman, pre Star Wars. He was working with Irwin Allen a lot. Did the music in Towering Inferno and Poseidon Adventure. Back then, that's when movies took the sequels 3 years to be released. I remember being a kid. It seemed like an eternity to see the resolution of Han Solo being frozen at the end of Empire Strikes Back. See the resolution of Return of the Jedi. you know, a whole lifetime you're going through changes in your life and your body, you know. Just I remember tears running down my face when the opening scroll of Return of the Jedi finally rolled, and me and my friend Larry waited in line for 2 hours to see that movie.
Wow.
And you just don't have that kind of experience anymore.
And all
Hey,
the
to
effort.
BK on the air. He is a radio
Hey,
show
how you doing?
in Cartersville, Georgia, 10 a.m. to noon on WBHF. That's a radio station that's been around for about 50 years.
Okay.
And he's on online too, and you could stream it from anywhere. But hey to you, Barry King of BK on the air.
And as an example, the effort that went into some of this stuff, the film Poltergeist, classic 80s film. The house, they built like a 1/6 scale version of the actual house in perfect detail with all the furniture and everything. And they attached everything in the house to piano wire inside this set. I don't know if you ever heard this, Chance. And they ran it through a pipe and attached it to a forklift, and then built it on a steel frame, and then pulled the forklift away so the whole house would suck in because they wanted it to look like a house was really being sucked into a hole. And they were like, it took us 6 weeks to build the house and all the little miniatures, and we couldn't blow it because we didn't have another 6 weeks to build another one. But can you imagine that? And then they just shone a light out of the little hole. And there you get the effect. And look at it. It looks fantastic. And you watch that and you're like, how the hell did they do that? Well, that's how they did it. But I mean, God, the amount of work and imagination that went into that.
Yeah.
And if it was done CGI, it would have cost 20 times as much and looked terrible.
Absolutely. I even it does look a little fake, but when the guy peels his face apart, that horrified me as a kid in Poltergeist, in the mirror and the maggots and all that. Oh, gross. That was such a gross out scene. And of course, Steven Spielberg was a shadow director. He directed some parts, even though he's not credited. He was on the set a lot, helping out with the creation of some of those effects and scenes.
Yeah, but it feels like CGI is taking away people's imagination and creativity. Because when you didn't have it, you had to rely on your imagination, your own mind, and your ideas. Now you got the computer and AI, and you just type it in, and AI spits out this thing, or the computer spits out something, and that's what you use. You don't really imagine it like you had to 40 years ago.
I agree. And I don't want to support AI. You know, I have a lot of friends on YouTube that do a lot of AI videos, and I want to support them, but I don't really want to support that technology. I fear it. I've seen Battlestar Galactica one too many times, where the Cylons eventually make us extinct as human beings because they self-evolve to the point where, well, these people could shut us off. We must destroy them. I don't know.
Well, TV and film have been warning us as far back as Metropolis.
Oh man, we saw Metropolis.
Because Metropolis, if part of the plot, and I'm sure you've seen the silent film Metropolis.
Certainly.
Part of the plot is that the android starts doing what it wants to do instead of what it was instructed to do. It was only supposed to infiltrate the Union, not kill everybody. and it got carried away and did its own thing and had to be stopped. So as far back as Metropolis, they've been warning us that you don't get too carried away with this. And they didn't even, the idea of a machine or a computer or a robot or anything like that was pure imagination at that time.
Yeah. And I mean, Metropolis, from my understanding, they lost 3 hours of that film.
Yeah.
And from what you see, I'm like, man, if you lost 3 hours, I mean, it was good. It was still 3 hours.
It was still pretty long.
Yeah, but I mean, it was really good. And I'm like, what were you going to tell us in that 3 hours you lost? That was a really good, well done, and it's still relevant today.
Sure.
And that's the type of films I like watching that's still relevant. Like some of them are just good and fun to watch, and they're not relevant. But the majority of the ones we watch are still relevant. You can see things happening now, but I don't really believe there's a lot of current films that relevant even today. I mean, it came out last week and it's still not relevant, and it's not going to be relevant in a year, especially
be forgotten. I like Ray Bradbury. I like the classics like I, Robot, you know, where on the other side of that argument where the robot is good but is feared, you know, and the robot saves this little girl. It was an Outer Limits season 2 episode with Leonard Nimoy, and of course it was a movie with Will Smith remade many years later. And I like The Day the Earth Stood Still with Klaatu, and you know, just the Forbidden Planet. I mean, just we could do a whole show on robots, movie and TV robots. So many good ones.
Or movies and TV shows that warned us about AI. I mean, even Rod Serling warned us about it in The Twilight Zone. So, I mean, before the computer even came out.
The brain center at Whipple's.
Yeah, before the computer even came out, they were warning you about computers.
And how about that one, In Thy Image, the first hour-long Twilight Zone from season 4 of the original series, where a guy discovers he is an android.
That's right.
He's peeling his skin apart at the wrist, and it was a creepy effect to this day. Yeah. And you just see all these glowing wires. I think the black and white makes it a little scarier too. I love black and white.
Well, you had to really know what you were doing with cinematography when you were going to film in black and white. The color made them lazy.
Oh yeah. Hey to Face the Ace. I didn't mean to neglect anybody in the chat. Hey to you. Anyone joining in late, this is Open by Chance Toys. They have an awesome YouTube channel. BK on the Air, you'd love their channel. And they're live Saturday nights, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And they do convention videos in 4K, right? I mean, it's like HD all the way, baby. And you feel like you're at that show. I'll be at FarleyCon tomorrow in Chattanooga, Tennessee, by the way. I'm going to just pop up there and shop for some comic books. And there's someone I want to meet there that BK introduced me to, James Enstall. He's a host of a big radio, a show on a big radio station, KTRS in St. Louis, Missouri, called Geek to Me Radio. It's a 1-hour show, which airs in our market at 10 p.m. for 1 hour, 10 p.m. Sunday night. And so I'm going to meet him, and I'll maybe shoot some video. Speaking of Elvis, you guys know this from the chat and your live stream. I met Priscilla Presley last weekend.
Yeah.
At Atlanta Comic Convention. Of course, we all love Dallas. At least you're watching it for the first time, I think. I've seen them all.
It, growing up, but I didn't remember. I remember it being on and watching it, but
you know how that is.
Yeah. But I mean, I was a kid, so
different perspective. Yeah, and a lot of things went over our heads, right?
Exactly.
Watching with our parents or whatever. But Priscilla Presley played Jenna Wade after Morgan Fairchild did. That was a situation which I can't stand in soap operas, where they recast a character. I call that putting a new head on a character. It's so jarring at first, right?
Well, you know what it is too, because people ask that question. They're like, no one cared when they replaced Darren Stevens, but that's a sitcom. When you're watching a drama, people get emotionally invested.
Yeah. And I think that at the time, Jenna Wade's character was so minor that you didn't really miss it or notice it. But Morgan Fairchild is in. We're watching Falcon Crest, and she's the lawyer on Falcon Crest with the split personality.
Will do, Sarah, in Southern California. I will. I'll say hey. I get a picture of it. Joe says a lot of the original Twilight Zones are creepy. Oh, definitely. They're meant to be. Yeah. It's a great genre of mix of sci-fi and horror. Coke, is it? He says, I know, but I like how David's wearing, sorry, listeners, he's wearing a Pepsi t-shirt, and I'm drinking a Pepsi soda.
Vintage Pepsi t-shirt.
I'm a bad Georgian, man. It's because my grandparents were in St. Louis, and they would give me Pepsi when I visit them in the summers or for Thanksgiving. So that's where that comes from. Anyway, who cares? So
you'll see how it tastes here shortly, now that they have cooperated with RFK Jr. and will be getting rid of corn syrup in their products.
Yes, they've offered real sugar Pepsi for some time, but it costs a lot more. The 12-pack cans, they only release it in the summertime, at least the last 3 years or so. But it's very expensive. They charge more for the real sugar version. And they had real sugar Mountain Dew also, but only in the summertime. And it's kind of in limited distribution. Anyway.
And once the distribution is higher, the price will come down because how that is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What I want to know is why haven't the people at MeTV, Lisa Welchel from The Facts of Life, talked about this earlier, but for those that tuned in late, there's a weekly show Sunday nights at 6:30 on that network, and it's called Collector's Call.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why the heck they haven't approached you. I mean, I think you would be a prime candidate. I've seen people on there with toy collections that it's minuscule compared to what you've assembled. I mean, that's carded, that's not carded, but it's all sealed. It's all expertly displayed. Like I have great stuff, but my displays suck. I need to really invest in the things that you have. Grid shelving. I have films on shelves, but I have so much stuff. I just have basic shelving, but how come they haven't reached out to you? What's up with that?
Well, you have to submit an application, which we did, and they just never followed it up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
are you going to send another one in case there might be a
we
new
might,
producer?
now that we're like moved again, and maybe after I get at least room 2 up, because I got toy room 1 is pretty much done. And then I've got to build up room 2 and 3 if I can get at least room 2 up, because both of those rooms will be all vintage. This room, not this room I'm in, but the next room is all my vintage stuff. And then the next room will be all of her vintage stuff. So, yeah, it should be pretty interesting. And yeah, like you were saying, I know people can't see it right now because we're in the lounge. But yeah, it's all slat wall systems in that room. So people often think we're a store.
Yes. Hey, thanks to Keebler, Danger No Sugarcoating the Truth. She is linking up the Open by Chance YouTube channel for those in the chat and in the replay crew, because I'll leave the live chat open. Please subscribe to their channel and click the videos, and you'll see some of their older videos with the old museum, but it's going to be bigger and better than ever once they have it all assembled and put together.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
We've been toured before, but not by Collector's Choice. Pixel Dan has come and toured us. Plastic Empire from Canada has come to tour us.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, but not that show, obviously.
It looks like you have plenty of space for a film crew too.
Oh,
At least in the lounge.
This is actually a big room.
Yeah,
it looks big. Yeah, I can tell. That's a lot of square footage you have there. A lot of square feet. And you've invited me over. One of these days, I'm going to take you up on that, and we'll watch an episode, and I will bring gifts.
You said you're gonna come and watch an episode of Dallas with us.
Yeah, we'll pop on a DVD or something like that. I've got all of them. They're having a big Dallas convention, actually. I mean, all of the living cast members except for Victoria Principal are going to be there. Maybe they'll sign her at the last minute. I don't know, but she's kind of distanced herself from the Dallas world.
Really? Where in Dallas?
It's going to be at the South Fork Ranch.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be at the exterior, the outdoor, the real South Fork Ranch. It's called the South Fork Experience in August of 2025. And the Knott's Landing cast is going to be there, which, of course, was a spinoff of Dallas. And I'm thinking about going. I don't know. It's probably going to be very pricey. All the talent they booked, that can't be cheap. I haven't looked on the website at the pricing.
Yeah, that stuff can get expensive.
Yeah. Well, Priscilla was
in the modern era. They expect to get paid.
Oh yeah, Priscilla was the most popular person at Atlanta Comic Convention, at least on Saturday. I know you were there Friday that weekend in July 2025 here in Atlanta, Georgia. But they had to build a separate stage for her on the fly, and they had a crew. They had to get the tape and the wiring and all that, and it was at her request because people were just lined up, and they had a sign, "No photography." She didn't want anyone taking pictures, and I think she saw some people sneaking pictures. So they had a separate little area for her, and it was $100 for a picture plus tax and plus fee if you use your card. It's about $116 total.
Oh, wow.
For a picture. And the autograph, get this, it was $60 if you had her sign one of her 8x10 she provided. If you brought something, it was $80 for her to sign. We are not using her resource. It seems kind of backwards to me, right?
Yeah.
And you know how I am about that kind of stuff, because as I pointed out, I mean, I've been doing conventions since the early 90s. And back then, pretty much everywhere you went, autographs were free.
Yes.
It was free. Or if they did charge, it was like $5 or $10. You could get a comic book artist to do a sketch for $10 or $20. It was, you know, it was no big deal back then. You want it? Can I take your picture? Yeah, sure, no problem. Nowadays, man, they want to be paid for everything. Remember, I got in trouble at the Atlanta Comic, at the ATL Comic Con, because you didn't see the end of that. The lot,
I want. Please tell that again.
It was caught live. It was caught live because I was walking by. I had gone through at the very beginning. I got in early because I had the press pass. Okay, and I had filmed all where the celebrities were going to be. All right. It's like, hey, this is who's going to be here. No problem. And I went back around later, and they have a rule about filming when the celebrities are there, which nobody was there yet except for Lou Ferrigno, who's cursed apparently.
Oh God, he's touchy.
Yeah. Not the first time I've had a problem with Lou, or I hear this from a lot of people about not liking Lou, but I'm going by, and I was probably 20 yards from the booths. And I said, well, let's take a look and see how these are lining up, because the early birds, when they released the early birds, all ran to get in line. And I was like, oh, I wonder who's at which booths, right? Oh, no, you can't film here. And it's like, I'm not even close. The guy runs up on me. Oh, you can't film here. Can't film here. I'm like, okay, no problem. Oh, and then security comes after me like a minute later. You're going to need to erase whatever you've got on your camera.
The hell you say?
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I just kept going.
And
then I'm like, hey, it's like, hey, we are live, so there will not be any erasing. And I guess they can just throw me out or not give me my pass or whatever. I don't care. And actually, a lot of people in the live stream were very offended that happened. They were pissed off because it wasn't necessary. It's like, okay, bad enough that the guy told me I can't film there, even though I wasn't filming anybody. Lou looked like he was about that big. I wasn't close to them at all.
Yeah.
But then you're going to follow it up and double down on it and then tell me to erase my footage. And people got pissed off. I finished, though. I did what I was supposed to do. And I was not intending to come back at all to the ATL. But I did end up coming back Sunday because there was a vendor there that wanted me to press and clean books for him. Because,
Mario's Comics, by chance? Mario's Comics?
No, it was not Mario's. I really don't know him that well. But yeah, most of my clientele actually are vendors. So I guess that tells you something. At least I must be doing something right. But he was like, oh, you're here. Hey, can you come back and grab a bunch of books for me and break them out of the slabs and clean them and press them? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll come back on Sunday. And when I came back Sunday, I did another live because I was there anyway.
Yeah.
Looking for cosplayers and couldn't find any. Because I'm like, you always see these amazing cosplayers in their promo stuff. I was like, let's see if any of them are here. No. Although Marvin the Mandalorian was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That he was Marvin the Martian / Mandalorian, Marvin the Mandalorian, and he had put a lot of work in his costume. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty clever. I like that.
That's great.
But
and he had saw the video the day before.
He knew who we were. He was like, I watched you guys the other day. Like, yeah, okay.
You must have a lot of people coming up to you, because I remember one of the times we were at a show, I come up to Lady Pop Hunter, I go, hey, and she looked kind of surprised. She turned, oh, it's you. She just looked like, you must have a lot of people like approaching you, some that catch you off guard. But would you describe the process of cleaning a book? Because I have no clue. Or do you not? Is that a trade secret? Is there anything in general terms you can talk about?
I do things a little bit different than most. And it's partially because my experience is actually with book restoration. So it's a little different. Now, when you, if you, and I'm not trying to bust on them, but it is what it is, because you know we've interviewed and talked with the guy from EGS Comics who flat out told me what grading companies do for cleaning and pressing is not what you do. Okay, when you go to you pay for whatever you pay for cleaning and pressing, which broke my heart because we know a guy who lives in Canada who sent 4 books, and you know most places charge by the value of the book.
That's crazy. I know. I've never understood that price model.
Yeah, CGC for these 4 books, because he's a real high-end collector. They charged him $2,800 to clean and press 4 books, and did not do the job. They did not look that great. But they take the equivalent of a magic eraser, you know, Mr. Clean magic eraser, rub the cover real quick, front and back, and then put it right in the press dry. And if you that's not going to get it clean. That's not going to get the lines out of it. You want the book to be flat, which means it has to be wet, which means you have to know how to steam the book properly, which is what I do. So I detail clean it with a really soft rubber eraser, which you have to know what you're doing. And I buff it with cotton balls, and then I start steaming the book. I start steaming the book to moisten it, which you also have to be careful, because you don't want to splatter the book, because then you'll get watermarks.
Yeah.
So you steam the book through, then you put it in the heat press. And there's a rotation process in the heat press as well. I don't do restoration. I'm not going to remove staples. I'm not removing tape. And I do not do peroxide. And there are some guys out there, they charge a fortune and they'll do a peroxide wash. And it'll look super bright and clean for about 3 years, and then the color will fade back out. And then the paper will become extremely brittle from the peroxide. So if they suspect even that you did a peroxide wash, you're getting a purple label anyway. So I never do anything that's restoration, but a proper clean and press, and I get some really amazing results sometime. Just as an example, this is an extreme example, maybe. Let me see here if I can find it out there. I got a couple of slabs in here. That one, you know, the
first Deadpool.
Yeah.
First Deadpool. 9.6.
That was a graded 7.
Ooh.
And it had deep indentations across the cover, but they were not color breaking. And I was able to press it out. I had to press it like 4 times, but I was able to press it out. And then this one was a graded 3.
Whoa.
That was a graded 3.
Wow.
And sometimes you don't get a bump, you know, but it'll look better.
Yeah, to present well.
Yeah, the presentation is everything. Here's a classic, really quick, Ghostly Weird Stories. And that's an LB Cole cover. This is Golden Age. Okay.
That's a beauty.
This is like a 3.5, maybe a 4, the condition, because of tears on the spine, right? There's one long one, I think, up here. It's like maybe 4 inches, and like a 1 inch one down here. But the cover, I got it really cheap from a vendor because there were pock marks all over it. Like someone had a ballpoint pen and was just stabbing it. There was like 150 dents, little dimples all down the cover like this. And it looked horrible, but they weren't color breaking. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I could press that out of there. Now you can't see any indication that there were any lines or dents on that cover at all.
You sure can.
It doesn't look like a 3.5 or 4, but the grade is still the same technically as it was when I bought it. But I got it really cheap because it wouldn't move because it looked terrible. Now, that presentation means a lot. And there's a lot of people, collectors, they'll take a low grade if it looks really clean because they know in a high grade this book would be thousands.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a demonic looking cover too. Look at that monster on the right. That's pre-code horror. That's pre-Comics Code Authority.
yes.
Yeah.
I've got this to show real quick, and then we've gone an hour 15. I'll take a break and then just come back for just a little bit longer. You got time for one more, like maybe 10-minute segment after the break?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, because I don't want to bore you.
Time for you tonight.
I appreciate it. I want to show you this, guys. Speaking of graded books, this is insane. What happened? I think I've told you about it, but let me. There we go. This is a book I bought graded, and after I got it, it exploded and cracked. And I've stored this in cool temperatures. This is the first appearance of the UFOs. It's not a really hot book or anything, but can you see that?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, look at that.
It's wrecked. It just spontaneously exploded.
Oh wow!
I've heard of that happening.
What do you think? What's your theory? What the hell would cause?
I think it's when it was heat sealed. It probably did not have. They probably did not or were not able to compress all of the air out of the Mylar because it's in that thick Mylar pouch.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll swell. Is it swollen?
It doesn't seem to be. I mean, it seems pretty flat. But they must have had some form of pressure in there to cause it to explode like
that. Because I've heard of that happening before. I haven't had it happen, but I've heard of that happening before with it, where it swells and then it splits the case.
Well, that's a great theory because, again, I have really good air conditioning in this room it was in. It wasn't improperly stored. Great. Well, Joe, I'm going to get to your questions after the break. I'm going to play a clip now. Now, David, I know you won't see this. I've been told, and because I don't see when people say you look like so and such Chance, I've been told by several women I look like Putin. I don't see it.
David Vladimir from Russia?
Yeah.
Maybe they just think you act like him. I have been mistaken. I have been mistaken for Lorenzo Lamas.
I don't know where that came from.
That actually happened to me in what was it, 1992. And I was working for Bradley's. If you remember Bradley's, some of you probably don't know what that is. Okay, yeah, Bradley's. I was actually working at Bradley's, and I had two old ladies creep up on me. And they're looking at each other. And then I'm like, "Can I help you?" And she says, "Excuse me, are you Lorenzo Lamas?" and then without missing a beat, and the guy that I was standing there with, he had to cover his mouth and turn and walk down the aisle. Without missing a beat, I go like this, "Shh, we're filming." And then she goes, "Oh," and then they both scurry away really quick. And then dude is like, "Oh my God, no, you did not do that."
Oh, that's a trip. That's funny, man. And I have another clip, minute long, where you see Amazing Fantasy 15 and the first appearance of Thor, Journey Mystery 83 in the background in a scene that Burgess Meredith is acting in a show called The Naked City from 1962. It's on location in New York at a newsstand. Can you imagine having a time machine and going back and just buying all those copies? You see Amazing Fantasy, first appearance of Spider-Man playing. Let me show you that before we go to the break real quick. It's just a minute. Check this out, guys.
Okay, give me a pencil. Crayon, quickly.
Oh, sure.
Yes, it's me, Duncan Christ.
Christ, the great poet.
Christ the greatest. Where's your marking pencil?
In my pocket.
Give it to me.
Well, tell a poem. You're a poet. Tell a poem.
Dabba 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 dabba, you mean brackish little merchant. Dabba dabba, there's a poem for you. Give me this. Now, I need some stamps. Do you have any? I have a poem for you. Only the dead are honestly arraigned. The touch of a corpse. All the earth is equal. The marble silk mausoleum, the warm rotted box, are idiot empty, the same.
Duncan, give me back those manuscripts. I paid you for them, Duncan. They belong to me.
Among other wets.
There you go. Could you see it? I know it might be a little small, but that was Amazing Fantasy 15 right there.
Yeah.
And Journey to Mystery 83. If you're watching on a TV, you can see it plain as day. And for the listeners, I thought that was a pretty interesting little scene. I just like the voice of Burgess Meredith. Of course, I remember him from Rocky and Batman.
Oh, yeah. He was
the Penguin.
Yeah, he was the penguin.
Trainer.
Rocky, he was the trainer.
Mickey, yep. All right, well, I guess it's time for a little break. Now, guys, I mean this with love, but this reminds me of a young David in this clip. This is 3 minutes, 46 seconds long. So if anyone needs to use the restroom in the audience or you guys or me, let's just watch this together.
Okay.
Try not to laugh. And
don't get beat up, Chance.
All right.
Separate the words from a sweet melody.
Baby, would you take away the music from a symphony? Don't take away the music. It's the only thing I got. It's my piece of the rock.
Our show. Tonight, our guests are Cheryl Ladd, Paulin,
our brother Jay, and a real nice angel. Every time you whisper low, oh, my heart would sing.
Now it's silent like the phone.
Gentlemen, Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thoughts?
So he was supposed to look like Donnie Osmond?
I think so, without the beard. He has in the eyes, particularly in that clip only, not every clip. I thought in that particular clip in the beginning, it reminded me of him. It reminds me of David.
Maybe if he had thick hair.
Yeah, But that's another topic, though. You guys always talk about the lack of talent in a lot of the productions. Now, whether you think Donnie Marie is lame or not, you got to admit they had talent. I mean, and there was an entertainment factor there. And you never see variety shows anymore. That's a thing of the past.
You had to back then. You had to be able to sing and dance,
play an instrument,
instruments, speak multiple languages. Even you had to be as versatile as possible, or you might be overlooked. And somehow we went from that to actors, in many cases, just being someone who can memorize lines.
They don't even do that well. You don't know how many times they got to say line. They can't even act anymore.
And I'm like, where's the emoting? You should be able to have some sort of expression. And you see this with a lot of modern actors where there is no expression. This is me angry. This is me sad. This is me happy. They always look and sound exactly the same with no variation.
In everything.
In everything. And it doesn't make any sense. And it's like, where's the emotional versatility?
I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but let me just throw a name out, and I'm sorry to interrupt. David Duchovny, the star of the X-Files. I found him to be extremely wooden.
I never liked that show.
I never saw the X-Files. I know the actor, but I never saw him act. You know, I've seen pictures of him.
I thought you were making a joke there. Yeah.
No. I've only ever seen pictures.
Some people, they are locked into a style. They're locked into a style like, oh God.
Will Ferrell.
Well, yeah. Well, Will Ferrell's a comedian. He's not an actor. I don't care what they say. A lot of those Saturday Night Live alumnists, they just have a dial, like Chris Rock, Will Ferrell, even Adam Sandler. How much Chris Rock do you want? Let me crank it up a little bit here for you. And there's no emoting there either. I'm thinking of, what is his name from Reading Rainbow?
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton, you know how he sounds on Reading Rainbow? He sounds like that in everything he does. He's like
not in Roots.
Well, maybe not in Roots, but watch him on Star Trek. He may as well be on Reading Rainbow. He's bouncing off the walls there too, like he's on medication. But I don't know.
No.
I don't remember Roots. I remember watching it, but I don't remember it that well.
Man, I wasn't a big fan. I didn't like it. And like the theme, the whistle. I don't know. I thought it was just kind of hokey. That's just me. I'm sorry if there's any X-Files fans out there. That's just my opinion. But Joe, here's your questions. I promised I'd ask.
Oh yeah.
Each of you, what's your favorite item in your collection? That's a tough one, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know if I can answer that.
What about a favorite? Okay.
I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't really know if I have a favorite item. I mean, it's parts that I like how it displays, like because I like displaying my figures a certain way, and some of them just look better displayed than others. So I kind of like that, how it all fits together, and when you look at it, it kind of flows together. I think I kind of like that. But to say one particular piece that I really like, that's my favorite of all, I don't think I have one.
Okay. What about you, David?
I mean, I've got a couple that like really stand out to me. For example, that Adventure Team figure in the box, because there's a long story with that one from childhood I've talked about before. You know the one.
No.
It's the Land Adventurer in the box. Bearded Land Adventurer.
Oh, the G.I. Joe.
Yeah. That was because it was the one that jumped me off with like straight up toy collecting. I found it in the late 80s in a toy shop on Harvard Avenue in Alston. And it was significant to me because I had that exact same figure for all of a day when I was a child before my mother destroyed it. literally ripped it to pieces because she didn't want me to have it. And found it again when I was an adult and was like, hey, I remember this. I want it. I want it back. And, there's a couple of pieces that have some significance like that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Chance put our picture up. And then look at the picture of Chance.
Is that Chance?
That's this computer, the AI.
I wonder if we're off the air.
No, you're not off the air.
Chance
I was
Joe.
trying to switch to my pictures, and it wouldn't let me do it. So, because I want to show you something. Let me take that off. And I was trying to put your names on the screen too. So
I see.
StreamYard's acting up tonight. It's not me,
Well,
honest. Yeah, that's the ticket.
I've had issues with StreamYard and Restream and whatever. They all mess up.
Yeah, Joe was saying he got a Spider-Man and Man-Thing comic. I read the entire Man-Thing comic, and I'm not a fan of Spider-Man, but I like the Spider-Man that they portrayed in the Man-Thing, because I only knew the Spider-Man from the movies, the modern movies, or the 80s movies or whatever, and I just didn't like that
Very
Spider-Man.
different from the way he was written in like Silver and Bronze Age.
Yeah. So once I read his, he made some appearances in Man-Thing, and I'm like, oh, this ain't the Spider-Man that you see on the movies.
No.
So it made me like him in the comics. Well, Silver Age? Well, no,
that would be
Bronze Age, in the Bronze Age comics. Yeah,
because I remember you said many times you're not into Spider-Man at all in terms of the comic books. I've heard you say that many times on your stream.
Yeah,
I want to show you guys this. This is an old record from a few years back, but look at that. Look at the money that this commanded at auction from Hake's auction. $76,700 for Amigo Green Goblin on a rare 1975 card.
And it's graded.
Yes.
No.
You're mint.
Yeah. And then you can see it down there in the bottom.
I think it's supposed to be 8.0 near mint.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Wow.
I have a favorite thing in your collection, David. You know what I'm going to say.
What's that?
I played a commercial of it at the very beginning of tonight's show. The Jaws, because I had that.
I had that as well.
And I lost it, but someone donated you a mint one in the box. Is that not correct, sir?
No.
Oh. Okay. So what's the story?
No, I found that at a toy show.
Oh.
I had one.
Now I'm going to have the same problem again trying to get it back where I had it before. Hold on. No, that's wrong. No.
You got to keep going through each one.
Each one.
You're thinking of the...
Sarah's laughing at me. Well, we'll just do it like this.
You're thinking of the Eagle One transport from Mattel.
That's what I'm thinking of, yes.
Yeah, because there's a story, and it's another crazy storyline. I had, when I was in third grade, I think it was it third grade? I'm trying to remember. On our bus, we had, no, that would have been first grade then. On the bus, they did the Secret Santa. And the kid who got my name was an older kid who was in like fifth grade or something, who lived up the street from me. And he says, well, I'll just give you my Eagle One play set, or, I'll give you my Eagle ship because, you like it. And I was like, oh, okay, that'll be great. I'm all excited about it. Never happened. Brian, you suck. He never gave me the Eagle One play set. And I was telling that story on one of our live streams. And one of the viewers, Lee in Canada, sent one to me.
Very nice.
Sent me a 1975 Mattel Eagle One transport. It was almost complete. There's a couple of odds and ends missing, but I'm like, holy crap!
Who sent somebody an Eagle One?
An Eagle One transport, and I'm like,
The
that's
shipping alone would be a lot too. I mean,
from Canada.
I can just imagine what he must have paid for the postage even. And I was just like, holy crap! Thank you, Lee. You know, what do you say?
That was nice.
That was very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's tie this in. Speaking of Lee and the Jaws figure, I'm sure you're aware of this. Lee Majors had a scene with the Jaws action figure scene right there in an episode of The $6 Million Man, a Christmas episode in season 4 of that program titled A Bionic Christmas Carol, because Jaws is a Universal picture and The $6 Million Man was a Universal TV show. So they had a little product placement there. And on the shelf is an actual behind the sales lady is a Steve Austin action figure.
Yeah.
To the right of her face. Kind of hard to see unless you're watching on TV. And sorry, listeners, it's there though. Trust me. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I showed a commercial for the Fembot action figure. There's the Fembot in the Bionic Woman. That terrified me as a kid when they'd be unmasked. That eyeball looking at you with that little speaker mouth.
Yeah.
I had nightmares for a year, at least.
Oh, wow. A whole year.
This Fembots. And then I had another thing. Oh, yeah. This was around the time I had the Jaws. My sister got this, a Donnie Marie record player.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And since I tie in with the clip I played earlier, I want that actually. It just plays 45s. I guess it'll play 33s. I don't know. Yeah, I see the speeds right there. I think it'll play. I see it on the left.
Yeah.
It's 78, 33, 45. I want that. And here's what the top looks like. And then they also had this. Look at the box of this gizmo. It's a radio, phonograph, and microphone sing-along machine and record player.
By LJN.
And you know, there's also a WKRP model just like that.
Really? It looks like this? Here it is out of the box.
Yeah, with a microphone. There's a WKRP model. And
they just repackaged it then. They just put a new label on a sticker.
Yeah, it's really, really tough to get.
Really? I bet it's big money.
Probably.
Big money. Big money.
Nothing on eBay.
Oh, I bet.
And then I just have 3 favorite comic book covers. I just wanted to share with you guys and with the audience. These aren't even valuable books. I just love the use of yellow and red. I talked about these, but this is a reprint title, but I love that cover.
Nice.
Yeah, look at the yellow pops. That's Marvel Tales issue 100. It's a takeoff on Amazing Spider-Man issue 100, but they changed it up because in the background of Amazing Spider-Man 100, you saw all the villains and the major characters like Gwen Stacy and her father, ill-fated Captain Stacy. But when they had the Marvel Tales 100, they just put covers of previous reprint Marvel Tales issues. I like that one. And I like this one. This is Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man 20. Another cool use of yellow. That's the Light Master. I thought that was a cool cover. And then the third and final one I want to show is Fantastic Four 220. Not a key issue, but I just love the use of red and yellow. I don't know. I just like that color.
X-Men covers that are like that too, with the sharp red contrast.
Yeah. I think I can't remember who, I think it's Hulk used a lot of green and purple. I like that. It's one of those Marvel characters. They use it a lot and it looks really good.
Oh, yes. And Joe also, he says he had an Enterprise space shuttle toy that my parents bought me at the Kennedy Space Center.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not familiar with that. That's pretty neat. Have you heard of that, David?
Is it made by Plastimarks?
Let us know, Joe, in the comments. Who made it? Do you remember? Was it Plastimarks? Now, a quick game for you guys. Today is National Pinball Day. That's one of my machines, Indiana Jones Pinball Adventure. Do you guys have a favorite pinball machine? Are you into pinball at all, or is that not really your bag? You into video games?
I used to do pinball a lot. And I used to, when I lived in Topeka still, take the kids to Chuck E. Cheese a lot. And they had a pinball machine in there that if you blew it out, it would give you a 500-point ticket. And I could turn that over. Sometimes I'd have 3 of those come out of the machine. And I used to blow that thing out all the time. And for the video games, the world, see, that's why it happens. You need to learn You need to learn what those buttons do, Chance.
Well,
He
that's the
would've
thing.
grabbed it.
StreamYard, they took away the description. They just put like symbols. I don't know what these symbols mean. They did. They had what I call, well, go ahead. What you got, David? Make you big. You grab something off the shelf.
See, for a Sega Genesis, Dragon's Fury, probably the best video pinball game ever made. And one of the very few Sega games with a save feature, because you're going to need to save it, because in order to complete it, you need 1 billion points, which will take you a couple of weeks of playing.
Weeks?
I'm not kidding.
Years.
I am not kidding. But the graphics on this and the music is amazing for the time period.
Can you play it? Do you have a working machine?
Oh yeah, I got one back there. I got Sega Genesis, Atari 2600, Nintendo NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, GameCube.
Television, ColecoVision.
No.
Oh, I
used to have a ColecoVision, not in television.
Behind me, 5200 Atari, and here's a 2600 converter my grandma got me, and she was in Florida. You plug it into the 5200, and you can pop in a 2600 cartridge, and it'll work.
Oh, okay.
People ask me, why do you always have pole position up? It's because you don't have to refresh it. You know what I mean? Like after a few seconds, the screen will crap out. So anyway, but I have tons of 5200 and 2600 cartridges. Sorry, I interrupted you. I'll shut up now.
That's all right. And I got a PlayStation 2 and an Xbox 360, and that's as far as it's going to go. And whenever I do want to play something, I always end up with either the Nintendo NES or the Sega Genesis anyway, because for some reason, those are the ones that appeal to me the most.
Very cool. Well, gosh, I could go on and on and on. We've gone an hour and 43 minutes almost. I mean, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Let me just see if there's something else I wanted to ask you about. I've shown these covers from my collection before. There's the first appearance of Franklin. Oh yeah, I remember I was going to show you guys the first appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus. Guess what I noticed? I opened it up to photograph it, and unfortunately, someone put their initials at the bottom of splash page 1.
SRK.
David, could that be removed, or is that permanent ink? That's not going anywhere.
That's permanent, but it doesn't affect the value.
It really, oh my gosh, I could say it's one of the artists, but of course I'd be a liar, and people would find me out.
That shouldn't. You would still get a blue label, and it would just say writing inside.
Oh,
cover,
really?
If they even wanted to bother. Sometimes it doesn't affect things. It depends.
Really?
Do you know what that material? What that was? Was it? It looks like it's marker.
It looks like marker. Yeah, it looks like permanent marker to me. When I held it up close, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You're not going to pull that out.
There's the first panel ever of the Silver Surfer from that book. He's traveling through the cosmos, and that's a cool panel from that issue as well. The second panel featuring the Silver Surfer in comic book form. Yeah, you can't. There'll never be another Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. That's for sure. They were so creative.
No, those writers back then, because I'm reading through my EC horrors, man, the writing in it is just great. I read a lot of DC, and I never read comics until a few years ago, and I'm just amazed with how mature the writing is. I honestly thought it was kiddish and stuff like that. I thought that's what it was going to be. And then I actually sat down and read one, and I was like, whoa, okay, you got to slow down and actually put thought into it. You can't read it like it, with a kid's book, you can kind of blow through it quick.
Like a modern comic.
Yeah.
Because the older the books are, the thicker the dialogue is, if you've noticed.
Yeah, and then it's like really wordy. I think the first ones I read was Swamp Thing, the Bronze Age Swamp Thing. And I was prepared to just kind of fly through it, and I got to the first page, and I got to a couple of panels. I was like, wait a minute, I got to slow down and had to go through and put thought into what I was reading, because it was actually saying something. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the more I read, and I read other ones, some of them are dumb and kiddish, but the bulk of them back then, even the 90s stuff, because I read Green Lantern. That one was a good read. The 90s Green Lantern Longbow Hunter.
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. Green Arrow. I don't know why I said Green Lantern.
The Longbow
It's
Hunter.
easy.
Green
It's
Arrow.
very similar. It's easy to make that error. I know.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny. People don't understand. Talking about Swamp Thing, Man Thing actually predates the Swamp Thing by several months in Savage Tales 1, the magazine. As does Prince Namor predates Aquaman in the pre-Marvel. Yeah. I mean,
and it's so crazy because Man Thing and Swamp Thing, their origin is almost the same. It's like they almost got the same origin. They're both scientists, had some kind of serum and got injected. Well, Man Thing was injected, it spilled on Swamp Thing, but same origin.
Yeah, and they both had great artists. Plug on the Man Thing side and Bernie Wrightson on the Swamp Thing side. In the early days of the incarnation of those characters, great stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I want to also mention your cat rescue. You guys have rescued a ton of cats, and you do take donations to help the cats. How did that start? And would you please speak to that briefly before we ran out of time?
It started with Old Dad, and that's one of the cats, and we still have him. He still lives outside of our house. He came to us. He started appearing in the back of the house, on the back porch, and it's like, I'll put some food out for him. He looked like a mop. He's a tuxedo, long hair tuxedo cat, but he looked like a black mop. He looked horrible, and he's got a damaged ear. He's got one ear that's always hanging down, and he hung around and he ate for a couple of days and then disappeared, and didn't see him for like 4 days. Then he comes in the yard with a female and 2 kittens in tow. So he was like basically scoping us out. And then it turns out that Old Dad was actually really sick, because you would see him, he'd stand and he'd arch, and he'd stand there for like 10 minutes in an arched position and not even move. And that's a sign of like severe pain in a feline. They're in terrible pain. And so when we got hooked up with, because when you're dealing with ferals or strays, nobody's going to help you. Okay. So unless you have a proxy. And so we've had to proxy with a couple of places before. And it was Halo House, and then it was Paws Atlanta. And then it was, I can't remember her name.
I don't know her name either. Some other lady.
Christy or somebody. I forget what she called her place. But we had to go through a proxy to get him looked at. And it turned out he needed surgery because of a tumor. And they just wanted to put him down. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I did a GoFundMe. There he is. I did a GoFundMe to be able to afford the surgery. And
he heard you talking about him. He showed up.
Yeah. He did it turned out it was an ingrown testicle that had turned into a tumor. It was killing him. And yeah, it was killing him. And that's why the vet was like, oh, he's not going to make it. Just put him down. And I was like, no, I'll pay for it. I just want I don't like that. And then he was in a vet care for a week. The wound's not healing. He keeps bleeding. He won't eat. All of this stuff. I was like, just give him back to me. Just give him back to me. Got him back to the house. He perks right up, eats. He
takes his medicine.
He just didn't want to be in the hospital, and I can't blame him. He took the medicine from me, and this is a feral animal completely. And that one thing led to another. Then Hobo shows up. We got the kittens adopted away. Then other cats turned up. A mama cat gave birth in our wood pile and had 5 kittens out there that I was keeping track of. And we've had as many as I think 21 or 22 at a time.
Yeah.
Right now it's 12 because of the gray one that just turned
Hey,
up.
Pastor Rick.
Hey, Pastor Rick.
I think the gray one had some babies.
We think she might have given birth somewhere, but I can't find her den. And I've been looking. It's addictive because you want to help them. You really want to help them. And you do the best you can. And like I said, we moved just recently and people are asking, what about the cats? I caught them all and brought them here. And I've got them in an outdoor enclosure right now so they can get used to the area. And I just caught one called Spice. It took me, I've been trying to trap him for like 6 weeks. He would not cooperate. He's a pretty aggressive feral, but he was scared because everybody's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, where the hell did everybody go? He probably thought I ate him or something. And he's terrified.
Oof.
You know, I mean, he's an animal. He doesn't know.
Right.
And then I've got him in a cage and he was pissed. He was really mad. But he's in the enclosure with the other ones now, so he's calmed down now because it's like, oh, okay, here's where everybody is. All right, we're good now. But yeah, currently, unless she might have had kittens, if that feral cat had kittens, I don't know how many, but currently we're taking care of 12.
That's really nice of you, man. And I know people donate when you're live. They'll do a super chat to try to help the cats.
Yeah,
and that's really cool. You have a GoFundMe, or is that your only source of funding aside from your own resources for the cats?
I've done GoFundMes before when I've had to do like medication or surgeries. Like I've done it for Hobo also.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves Hobo. Is the big orange tabby, no teeth.
Yeah. Your cats, people that don't know, they make cameo appearances on your live streams, and you do. We'll talk about it in a minute. You do a 1 hour news, 1 hour show every day live on another channel you have, Coffee Talk on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it airs at Fistful of Radio after the fact at 4 o'clock Eastern time, audio only. But I love it when your cats pop up. But please continue. I just had to interject that.
No, everybody loves the cats, and especially Hobo because of his situation. I mean, he was wretched, starving to death because he had no teeth. And when he would come and try to eat when no one was around, and he'd be there forever and couldn't figure out why. And I finally caught up with him, and he was feral, but he was too weak to get away. And just fur and bones, and so dark you couldn't tell what color he was because he was filthy, covered with scabs and blood, and his wounds were infected. He was in horrible shape. Intestinal worms and ear mites and fleas, and they wanted to put him down too. And I was like, no, he's trying to eat. He wants to live. I'm not doing that. And if you saw him now, little bundle of joy, fat little happy guy, and
he recovered. Awesome.
That's what it's all about. He's a fat little happy thing now. We just want him to be happy and be taken care of, and we do TNVR them. Because people are like, oh, you're letting them breed out of control. No, we're not. Shut up. They're all TNVR serviced because that will happen. That's how you end up with animal hoarders, and they got 157 cats and don't know what happened. You have to cut it off somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a good heart. I love animals of all types, dogs, cats, bunnies, whatever. I can't imagine hurting an animal, but that's really cool that you had the intuition to know, no, this animal wants to live. You're not going to put him down. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I just refuse. Every time I've been told that, the animal has lived. And I think it's just a desensitization of being a vet. You know what I mean? Because that seems to always be the go-to. That, oh, yeah, well, you probably should consider putting them down because I'm like, yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
And everyone I've ever said that, they've lived. So... including dogs, because I've helped dogs before too, and including a dog that had a torn bladder, and they were like, "No, he's gonna. I'll find somebody who'll do a surgery," and they did, and he lived. So,
wow, a torn bladder and an ingrown testicle. You're teaching me things I'd never heard of that sound horrifying.
Scary stuff. Of all things, right?
Yes.
Of all things to get a tumor from. But yeah, I mean, I love them all. I hate doing the adoptions because sometimes we do adoptions and we do them through a proxy. So we don't just say, oh, here's a cat, Paws Atlanta did the last couple for us.
Mm-hmm.
Got adoptions for us. You know, we do the best we can. We do the best we can.
You do a great job. Another question, and this is the final question. What is your favorite era of things you like to collect, like to watch? Is there a decade, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Each of you, what's your favorite era that you enjoy in terms of music, just the whole package?
For me, TV shows and movies, I like to start because I like to watch a lot of 40s movies, 40s up to about the 90s. TV shows, maybe 60s up to the 90s. Sometimes in the 2000s, you had some good, decent ones sprinkled in there. With music, I like to go back to the doo-wop era, all the way up to the 2000s. Actually, maybe about 2010. And then with toys, as far back as I can go, up until about 2000. But I do have some modern stuff. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's all the era, the different topics.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I think that all of pop culture kind of peaked at about 85. So from 70s and 80s,
yeah,
for me primarily, with a sprinkling of 90s stuff, because it feels like from the mid 80s onward, things started to dip. You still got some good stuff.
Yeah.
But like, for example, The Crow, good film. Nightmare Before Christmas, good film.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Lion King.
89.
Or even the wrestling. You know, it was still palatable through to the mid 90s. But to probably the peak could be in the 80s with a really solid buildup in the 70s. So for me, 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Great answer. Well, that's a good segue to this final image. Pick your favorite 80s movie a-hole. I know you on your Facebook, you post a lot of funny memes like this, David.
Yeah.
But for those that are listening, I'll just pick mine. It's a tie. It's got to be Biff Tannen from Back to the Future, parts 1 and 2. I didn't care for him in 3. And then Chet from Weird Science, played by Bill Paxton, the older a-hole brother.
Yeah.
Those are my two. And I don't know why poor Karate Kid is mixed in there. Whoever created this meme, that's harsh. He wasn't an a-hole.
No, it's not harsh. Go back and watch the film. He's a little prick.
He is.
He gives his mother a real hard time the whole time, whining the whole time. You know, hey, I'm sorry. I've got to take this job. I don't have any other choice. Yeah, well, what about me?
Yeah.
He's a little bastard in that film.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Every fight he starts.
He started every fight.
Dude was breaking up with his girlfriend. They were arguing. He goes and slides in the middle of it. That's why he got his ass kicked on the beach, because he stuck himself in
whirling.
Are we back?
Yeah, you never left.
Yeah, we're back.
How far did we get?
I heard every word.
It disappeared.
I mean, it kind of pixelated, but I can hear it.
On the beach, he injected himself in there.
Yeah.
And that's why Johnny kicked his ass, which is like, you know, dude, please mind your business. And he's like, well, duh, and got beat up. Then when everybody at school forgot all about him, he pulls a prank on Johnny in the bathroom at the Halloween party and jumps it off again. And that's why Johnny chased him down.
And then took that bonsai tree.
Oh, you're in Karate Kid 3 now.
Yeah, but he still killed that bonsai tree. Bought a business for Mr. Miyagi that he didn't want.
In the second film, he injected himself into Miyagi's private business. He had to go by himself to Japan. Oh, I traded in my college tuition money to buy a plane ticket. So now Miyagi's got to replace his tuition money,
Mm-hmm.
which he did, to go to Japan. And that's where the feud started, was because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Miyagi and the other guy would have come to terms by the end of the film without Daniel. But Daniel's presence is what made the nephew furious, and why he refused to help during the tsunami.
Yeah.
So I mean, everything, if you think about it, he's the one that runs the interference and everything, which is in the new Cobra Kai. They play off of that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because they fans have been arguing about that for decades, and so they played off that a lot, and they cover a lot of things from Johnny's perspective in that film.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Machio is actually on there, and that's why he's my pick.
Yeah,
what a great answer.
Yeah, I pick him and the guy from Nerds. I think the guy on the top right with the red sweater.
Revenge of the Nerds.
from
Yeah,
Nerds.
Ted McKinley's character. Yes.
Yeah, those two.
Yeah, and my friend Hunter picked the top center. Sorry, listeners, that's the principal from John Hughes movie, Breakfast Club, which I think is overrated. And I saw it back then when I was a little kid. I didn't.
A good movie, but yeah, I can see that being overrated. But it was a good movie, though.
Well, people often miss the actual point of the film.
Yeah.
What's the theme song?
Yeah. Don't you forget about.
Don't
Don't
you forget about me.
Yeah.
And what happens the very last 60 seconds of the film?
They all go back to school.
When they go to school, they drop right back into their same cliques, and they pass each other with barely a glance.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Brilliant. And also just
people miss that.
Principal Rooney from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is also on the list. I don't even know who the guy in the center is, dead center or the left. I don't.
Dead center, is that the guy from Ghostbusters, the inspector?
Oh yeah, I think that's right. And I don't know on the left of him who the hell that is. Oh well. And then that's at the top left is Spacey's character, and I don't know what movie that is either. I'm not a very good student of the 80s after all. Jeez. I don't even know who some of these people are on this chart. Okay, enough said.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. I need to do some homework. And then, well, tomorrow I'll be at FarleyCon. Michael Bell's really, aside from James Enstall, the only celebrity I care to see. There's a lot of Walking Dead actors, which is fine. But this guy was the voice of one of the Super Friends and many other things. And he actually acted in Three's Company in a really dramatic episode where he played Janet's dance instructor. He was hitting on her. And it turns out he was married, and he goes, you know, I got to tell you, I don't think you have what it takes to be a dancer, when he couldn't get his way. And she goes, well, I don't think you have what it takes to be a human being. I don't know. I always remember that. And he had like this leotard and his chest hair sticking out of the leotard. He had this beard. Yeah, he just had a weird look. And that's Michael Bell. He's one of the best voices. So it'll be interesting to meet him. Hopefully he'll be there. But guys, I want to thank you for being on my channel, The Nostalgic Podblast. How can people find you? I mean, hopefully I'm bringing someone to the table, but you have more subscribers than I do. But I just want to help each other out here. And I like the conversation. Really, I like what you do for the cats, and I like your knowledge, and I like your chemistry. And I tune in every Saturday night at 7 Eastern time that I possibly can to catch your 2-hour live stream. It's a lot of fun on Open by Chance YouTube channel. And then David, you, as I mentioned, I just want to plainly state, you do have a news talk 1-hour program at 2 o'clock Eastern time until 3 o'clock Eastern time on Coffee Talk. That's a YouTube channel. Sometimes you'll get a lot of the Mike Myers Coffee Talks if you search for it on YouTube from Saturday Night Live. But if what I do is I put in coffee, just subscribe. But if you don't to subscribe, search Coffee Talk and write David. It'll pop right up. You'll see the Coffee Talk. Yeah. If you put Coffee Talk David.
Well, you can use the YouTube moniker at Coffee Talk Live.
That's exactly it. And I'll be quiet now, guys. And then Lady Pop LPH, that stands for Lady Pop Hunter. And you have a YouTube channel as well. Now I'll be quiet. Please let folks know how they can find you. Any listeners that are not on YouTube.
So I have a channel, Lady Pop Hunter, and I really need to do more putting stuff on it. I do have some like cartoons and commercials, some of my collection, like comic books. I've done a couple of comic book challenges, one of the friends, our comic book friends, do Friday challenges, and I was doing that a lot. I showed some of my collection, some featured stuff. So you'll find some different things on there. Also on Open by Chance.
And that's at Open by Chance on
Yeah.
YouTube.
So we had, like Chance says, we have the live shows, but we also do a lot of discussions, talking about different nostalgia topics. We do tours of our museum. David does a lot of featured toys because he got a lot of weird, strange, really old things you've never seen before. So he'll do some featured toys. So we got a lot of content there. So you'll enjoy it. And then Coffee Talk Live is a that's about current events.
Yeah.
It's very
if you're into
conservative, so but
and you've
it's
been on there lately yourself. Usually it's David solo, but you've been like a co-host sometimes.
He comes on occasionally.
Yeah, if I'm off work, I'll join him and we'll talk and do whatever, talk about current events and what's going on in the world. And that's usually fun. And if you look at some of the older videos, there are some we call walk and talk, where we're out in the woods and a topic come up and we'll discuss certain topics.
Yeah, because we're in a somewhat of a rural area, actually, where we are.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I love your news show. And I catch the audio version at Fistful of Radio streaming out of Atlanta at 4:00 Eastern time, Monday through Thursday. And then from noon to 2 episodes back to back Friday afternoons. And that's Eastern time. You can stream from anywhere at fistfulofradio.com. And some people might be listening to this edition of the Nostalgic Podblast on Fistful of Radio. But David, anything you want to add?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Again, we're going to be next at the Retro Toy Swap, and that's tomorrow in Powder Springs, and we're going to film live. And then after that, I think the next one we're scheduled for is actually Joe Lanta.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do anything else before Joe Lanta.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the next one.
That's a toy. For those that don't know, that's a toy convention, a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one. It's one of the biggest in I think at this point it probably is the biggest one in Atlanta. Toy Lanta and Joe Lanta.
Yeah.
Biggest one in Georgia.
Yeah, they're huge.
They are huge now.
And you have toys and you have comics. So it's not a lot of artist alley type stuff.
Yeah.
You actually have toys and you actually have comics.
Very little in the way of artist alley at those events, which, you saw really that was like 95% what was at the ATL Comic Con.
Yeah.
You can't even call it a Comic Con if you only have 5 or 6 comic vendors. I'm sorry. But
thank you, Pastor Rick.
Thank you, Pastor. Subscribe to Coffee Talk and the Nostalgic Podblast. And there, Keebler posted a link to Lady Pop Hunter YouTube channel and Open by Chance YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And those that are listening, all you have to do is Google search Open by Chance Toys, and it should pop right up at the top.
Take all the help I can get.
All right. Well, I'm grateful for your time. You're lovely people. I love what you do for the cats, and I appreciate you coming on the Podblast. Hope to do it again soon. I appreciate it when you interviewed me those 2 times. So I thought I should return the favor, and hope you have a great weekend. And I'll tune in tomorrow if you go live tomorrow after the show. And I want to see you in person, hopefully, at the next Atlanta record and CD show. Is that what it's? I always screw that up.
I forget. There was one that just passed. Too.
Yeah, we missed that one. I don't know when well, it's like almost every 3 months, I think.
Yeah, they do one in Marietta and one
like
somewhere.
4 months. Yeah, 4 times a year.
Yes, ma'am. They did 2 locations, I believe, right? They rotate, like Atlanta and then Marietta, I think.
Yeah, there's a sister show.
Yeah,
that's affiliated with it, but I think the Atlanta record and CD show is the larger one.
Yeah. And that one is a lot of fun. You get a lot of vendors out there, a lot of good stuff, and it's deals to be had out there. They
Oh,
give you
yeah.
some great deals.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to see you at the the Marriott Comic Show or the Marietta Record Show soon. And you're great people, and good luck with the museum. Hopefully, it'll be up and running. I can't wait to see the final video and get that virtual tour.
Okay.
Well, y'all have a good one. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you, Chance.
All right. Bye-bye. There they go. Open by Chance Toys. Really nice people. And of course, I can't figure out my settings. No, I can. Let me see here. How do I? Oh my God. What have I done now? What have I done? Hang on. Let me figure out how to fix my image. I still got, well, I'm going to play a clip while I figure out this technology. Al Hardy was going to join us tonight, but he's not feeling well. He has a sinus infection because I had someone pass away. I want to talk about just for a little while, but I think this would be a good point to talk a little bit about FarleyCon. There we go. Told you about Michael Bell being one of the guests. I'm going to meet this gentleman there, James Enstall, whom I met through Barry King of BK on the Air radio program. James Enstall has a show, Geek to Me Radio, out of St. Louis, Missouri, on KTRS, the big KTRS, big 550 FM radio station. And every Sunday night at 10 o'clock, he has a 1-hour program, and he has a lot of guests that are in the industry, past, present, and some future stars, some comic book artists. He reviews movies. He has a producer who's also a semi co-host named Joey. And I really enjoy his program every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And that's 9 o'clock his time in Central Time Zone and 7 o'clock Pacific time. But I'm going to finally meet him face to face at FarleyCon tomorrow. But I was on his show. I called in to do a mini review of the Fantastic Four. Before I do that, before I play that, I'm going to show you JT's review of the Fantastic Four movie. This is our man in the seats, Mr. JT, and his take on the brand new movie, The Fantastic Four, which I saw, and I've already reviewed it a couple times, once by myself and once with Danny. Danny didn't like it, but guess what? Danny, our good friend of the Podblast, got up and left about a third of the way into it, so I don't consider his review very valid. But now let's look at a review. It's only about a minute and a half long from JT. If I could switch to my clips, and let's see what JT had to say. I haven't watched this. I'm watching this live with you right now for the first time. I have no idea if he liked it or not. It's a minute, 43 seconds long. Take it away, JT.
Hello, this is Movie Reviews by JT, and I got another review for you, The Fantastic Four First Steps. This film was great. Had a blast watching it today in the theater. It's the best Fantastic Four movie I ever watched. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I loved the cast. The chemistry between the cast are great. So seeing the Silver Surfer, seeing Galastes, everything was all great and everything and stuff. And the 2 post-credit scene, one sets up for Avengers Doomsday. And yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch it again when it comes to streaming. And I can't wait to see the Fantastic Four again. The people who's playing them in this movie, like Pedro Pascal, Joseph Cran, Vanessa Kirby, and everything, they were all fantastic in this film. They did a great job playing these characters and everything. And yeah, it was fun. I had a good time watching that and everything. Definitely go see this movie in theaters this weekend. You're definitely going to enjoy it and everything. And yeah, it was fun. I had a blast watching this film today and everything. I give the Fantastic Four First Steps a 9 out of 10. Definitely go see this movie in theaters this weekend and everything. So that's my review for the Fantastic Four First Steps. All right, bye.
Okay, I don't want to burn you out on the Fantastic Four. Oh, thank you, JT. The popcorn's in the mail for you to microwave, because I don't like microwave popcorn. He likes to be paid with popcorn. Wink, wink. I joke. I just like JT. I like his reviews, and I have another one later for I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'll play later in tonight's program. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's not a spoiler. We can talk about this. Anyone that hasn't seen it yet. It's set in the 1960s, right? I was about to say a year, 1961, and then it shows like a little time capsule of what happened over about 4 years' time, right? So it takes you to about the mid 1960s, and then there's a scene that takes you up to about 1969, a end credit scene during pretty much the start of the end credits that I won't spoil. So it's in some parallel universe of the 1960s, yet they do have technology, as I mentioned in my first review, that's a little bit better than we had here on our Earth in the 1960s. Okay, so here's the problem. They do say at the end of the movie, the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. And it's like, well, how can that be? Because that Avengers movie ostensibly will be set in our modern times, right? Like the Endgame movie was, and all the Avengers movies were like pretty much modern day. So I have some theories, but I called into James's radio show, and I have a clip where I called in to ask him what his theory is of how are they going to pull this off of having the Fantastic Four of the 1960s in an alternate universe in our time, on our Earth. And here's what he had to say.
We're still talking with Janelle Breimer about the Fantastic Four. Maybe we're going to the phone lines also here. We've got from Atlanta, Georgia, Chance Bartel, who runs the nostalgic Podblast, had you wanted to jump on too, Chance, and you had a question about something?
I did. Great guest tonight, by the way. My question is this. Okay, we know that the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. How are they going to bring them from the 1960s in an alternate universe to our universe? Do you think it'll be Dr. Doom's time machine in his first appearance in comics in Fantastic Four 5, or do you think Reed will discover a space warp?
I've got a couple theories. I'll let Janelle go first and see if she has something, and it might be the same thing. But very quick, before I let you go, Chance, we'll answer your question. Did you? What were your thoughts on the movie?
I loved it. I concur with you guys. I give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Perfect. And again, if you're listening right now, you can check out the nostalgic Podblast that Chance runs down there in Atlanta, streaming wherever you get your podcast from. He has a great retro stuff. I love it when he shows off his comic book collection. Are you going to do a Fantastic Four showing for us sometime soon?
Absolutely. I've already done 2 reviews there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chance. Be well. Appreciate it.
All right. You too. Bye.
So, Janelle, I'll let you go first. How do you think they're going to do that little feat?
My thought is I feel like they've been, I know that they're probably, I know again, when they're trying to get away a lot from what they've done here now as far as the MCU in the past, but they've had a lot of incursions happen.
Right.
And I feel like we're kind of on the precipice of finding out that that's how the first family ends up in our timeline, is that definitely an incursion of, and they had to flee their Earth, and that is why now they're here. They went to, hey, we found this one, and it looks like it's open for business, and this is where we're heading. And I'm leaning towards the incursion thing, because I think that then plays very well into then the eventual getting to Secret Wars, where maybe Dr. Doom takes bits of all of these incursion little spots that are left out there and creates his own battle world kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm assuming Galactus might figure in. Maybe that's where Galactus got sent to, like, Battle World, as they called it in the Secret Wars comic. And it's kind of weird that we're not going to see this group again until the next big crossover movie, which is kind of a bit frustrating.
Yes. But they kind of wrote themselves into this. This is one of the problems. They did this to themselves. We should have had more time getting used to what's about to happen in Doomsday. But this is what we're happening. I mean, this is where we're going, and we don't have another Marvel movie for 300 days.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming that, like, to Chance the point too, I don't necessarily think this was set in the 1960s with the technology that they had. I don't think it's actually, it looked like that futuristic, but I don't know if it's actually 1960s on Earth 828.
Okay. I don't know unless somebody can pull out one of those Easter eggs as far as like all those magazines and newspapers that they flew through, if there was ever a date that was printed on anything. Yeah. A lot of times, like that. So I'm going to have to deep dive and see if there was anything printed on any of those things that they showed throughout the movie. So
yeah, it's not a
I'm not
spoiler,
sure.
but my friend Gary kind of chuckled while we were watching the movie, and he leaned over because at one point they switched something out in Herbie. He goes, "Let me get this straight. They have faster than light travel, but they're still using VHS tapes in their robot." Was fair.
Herbie was wonderful, though. So I mean, like he had a lot of. Maybe he just wanted to keep some old school tech. You know, like how sometimes you make a list. You might make a list on your phone, or you might do something, or the way that people stream movies. You know, people are buying them online, but people still like that hard copy that they have at home. So
I was very encouraged. I was talking to a Gen Z who was just telling me about the videotapes he bought, and I said, "You mean like DVD movies, Blu-rays?" He goes, "No, I actually bought VHS." And I was like, wow, really? He goes, yeah, I got an old VHS I got working. So that's kind of impressive.
Wow, that's, I mean, good on him. That's, but what is your theory?
Well, I think VHS is going to make a comeback.
No.
As far as the how they're going to get them over there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be I don't know if it's something else that will end up, obviously, I'm trying to do stuff without spoilers, but we know that Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doomsday. Hopefully, I'll be pleasantly surprised by his portrayal as well, because that was another thing. As soon as they announced it, I felt like I was in the minority. I was like, nope, that's not going to work.
No, I don't think you're in the minority. I think there's actually more, as Nixon would have called it, the silent majority. So I mean, like, yeah, I think there's a little more people that are a little bit, little trepidation there when we saw him being cast as Doom. I'm hoping he's just a variant that gets killed off very quickly.
Right. And then we get Tom Cruise as the real Doom.
Sure.
But I know that was one of the things I was rooting for until they used him and they wasted him as Sidewinder in Captain America, the last movie. I was really hoping Giancarlo Esposito would be Dr. Doom, because you need an actor with gravitas and kind of who just, by entering the room, he fills up the space, and I thought he would have been a perfect choice for Dr. Doom had we gone that route. But
I liked John Hamm. I wanted John Hamm as Dr. Doom.
Interesting.
Yeah, because he was good looking, but then then he was scarred, and he always plays with wanting to go back to being good. Somebody fixing his face and not fixing his face, and I just thought, let's
interesting
get
choice.
Somebody with a good voice in there.
No, interesting choice for sure. No, as far as how they're going to make that happen, I think it's going to have to be something to do with, now that they know that there are these alternate realities that they kind of briefly skipped over. They didn't really dig into that aspect, but Reed kind of was positing that theory. I think it's going to have to be something where, because Galactus knew the world, they're still going to have to try to move it. And when they move it, they don't just move it geographically into another part of the universe. They move it to a different universe entirely, is my only thought. So they still end up moving the Earth like he was planning to, worried that Galactus will try to get back to them, or something to that effect. But I think it's going to be something to do with the technology that they've already shown they have, is my thought.
So kind of like what they, without spoiling what happened in this movie, kind of what they did for this movie?
Yes. Yeah, I think they're going to, I think it's going to be something to do with that. Like Chance said, it's not a bad thought if Dr. Doom's like, hey, we're going to have to take on Galactus because you beamed him over here. So we're bringing you in from here. We're bringing these people in from here. And it's going to be kind of a hodgepodge thing, which I think was also what your thoughts were too. So those are the only two options I can think of, but who knows?
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of people that theorize that it's not even the family that it was. I don't know if it's a spoiler. Is it a spoiler or not to say that we really didn't get much tie-in with the Thunderbolts movie?
I don't think so. No, there didn't seem to be much tie-in with anything, which I guess kind of makes sense because it's a different Earth, a different, everything else. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Were you expecting maybe one of the credit scenes to kind of allude to the credit scene in Thunderbolts?
It would have been nice, but again, I'm not going to be a stickler. And gosh, I just noticed we've got about 20 seconds here.
Gosh.
We didn't even get to talk about Julia Garner as Silver Surfer, who I love, by the way. I thought it was a great choice.
So good.
I would have rather seen it be Frankie Ray as Nova, but I get why they did what they did, and I'm not mad about it at all. Really quick, before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you on social media so they can get your movie reviews, your sports takes, and more.
TikTok for my movie reviews would be _Holy L, HOLYELLE. You can also find me at Twitter at HOLY_ELLE. And I'm also just kind of on Instagram, Twitter, just kind of all over the place.
All over the place. I appreciate you coming on tonight to talk about the movie with me. Thank you very
Thanks
very
for having
much.
me.
I appreciate your time.
And thanks to Geek to Me Radio and James Enstall for the use of that clip. I should have asked permission ahead of time. Being honest, I did not. But I thought that was a good theory about what happened. Now, what I meant when I called in about the time machine in the very first issue of the Fantastic Four that introduced Dr. Doom, that's issue 5 from 1962, he has a time machine that transports the superheroes to a pirate ship way back in the past. And so it's been established from the get-go that Dr. Doom can control time, kind of like Kang, right? Sorry, this is Marvel heavy talk just for a moment. But so I wondered if, because we had at the end of the new movie, a certain scene, I don't want to spoil, I'll just hint, that might feature a character who has a time machine. So we'll see if that's what's going to happen. I mean, if so, it was pretty overtly hinted at what's going to happen to bring the Fantastic Four to the modern times and into the time of the Avengers. And of course, the reason they had to set this movie, there's a lot of complaints, like Danny's complaint, Danny Cochran, Kraken's Lair Comics, was that, oh, that's lazy writing. Why they have to have a parallel universe? Well, it's because 20th Century Fox owned the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Disney did not. And they didn't have a deal at that point. They bought the Fox library, I believe, in 2018. So this is the first time that you could have a true MCU Fantastic Four take. So they had to come up with something. And now they're going to bring them all together, because on their world, there is no Avengers. There is no X-Men. There's no nothing. There's no Defenders. It's just the Fantastic Four. Those are the only superheroes in that universe in the new movie. So, I think it could be that, or I think it's like James said on his show, Geek to Me Radio, maybe Doom isn't using a time machine, or maybe he is, and he's assembling like the Beyonder did in the Secret Wars comic book 12-issue original miniseries from 1983 and 1984. There was a godlike being called the Beyonder that summoned all these heroes to do battle. It was like their take on a 3-issue miniseries a couple years prior called Contest of Champions that Marvel Comics produced. Basically the same plot, where you had a big battle featuring everybody in the Marvel universe. So I'm super excited about it, and to see how is this Doom, this Victor Von Doom, an evil Tony Stark, which has been theorized. We're going to find out in due time. So I'm excited about it. I love the new Fantastic Four movie, but we need to talk about other things, because not everyone is into comic books. They're into nostalgia, that tune into this show or watch the show, the Nostalgic Podblast. So I want to jump ahead and just feature just one of these. I don't want to date the show. I used to do birthdays all the time, but I just have one that I want to talk about really quickly. Yeah, this is a retro birthday. This person is still with us. Let me just find her picture. This is from a little bit back in time, just a few days, depending on when you're watching or listening to the show. Brianne Leary. She was in Chips. She played the first, as they called her character, a Chippy. I had never heard that on the show itself, but it was written about a lot, like in TV Guide. The Resident Chippy, Chippie. She was the first female officer on that show that we saw that was prominent, that was a main cast member. And what's interesting about her is she started her showbiz career as a contestant on Match Game back in 1976, and she did really well. She earned quite a big chunk of change for back then, I think almost 12 grand. But she turned 68 not too long ago. So happy 68th belated birthday to Brianne Leary, who began her showbiz career, as I just stated, as a contestant on Match Game in 1976, just as Kirstie Alley did on that show a few years later in 1979. But unlike Kirstie Alley, Brianne returned to be a Match Game celebrity panelist in 1979 after being a contestant. Now, that's the only instance where that happened on the original CBS and syndicated version of that game show, Match Game. However, Kirstie Alley did come back after being a contestant in the old days to the rebooted primetime ABC show hosted by Alec Baldwin as a celebrity panelist in 2019. Now, Brianne, who was born on Sunday, July 28th, 1957, in Providence, Rhode Island, is a cousin of Timothy Leary. So happy 68th belated birthday to Brianne Leary, who retired from show business some years ago. And she was replaced on Chips by Randy Oakes, who had played in season 2 a villain. She played a criminal, and her appearance was so popular that they created a character for her. And she replaced Officer Cindy Cahill in season 3, although Cindy Cahill did appear in a season 3 episode of Chips. But the first in aired order, NBC aired order of the first episode of the 3rd season of Chips was a special 90-minute episode called Roller Disco. And the network aired it out of order. So after Roller Disco aired, which introduced Randy Oakes' character with short blonde hair, the new Chippy, no explanation of what happened to Officer Cindy Cahill. She returned a few weeks later because the episodes were shown out of order. And she was in a really good season 2 episode of Chips titled Mate Team, M-A-I-T-T-E-A-M, Mate Team, in which she almost is killed. It's a very serious episode where people are beheaded in a car crash. It's a very, very serious episode where a lot of people died in a massive car pileup. And she was suspect for having caused the crash. And so our heroes, Ponch and John, don't laugh, have to reconstruct the accident. And it turns out it was something to do with the sunlight at that time of the day. A trucker was blinded. And anyway, as was Cindy Cahill, and she was vindicated and was not charged with any crime. But that's probably one of my favorite episodes of Chips, along with the one with Danny Bonaducci. The first one, Danny Bonaducci from Danny on the Partridge Family, first one he did, and it's called Karate. And he played this badass punk. And it's the only time, little trivia, that a gun was drawn on Chips, and it was on Danny Bonaducci's character in the episode Karate. Also in that episode is Carrie Michelson. This was probably filmed in 1980, season 4 of Chips. And she went on to be the older sister in Give Me a Break the next season later, also on that same network, NBC. Anyway, but I did digress. So that's my big birthday of the day. And let's see, let's make sure I got everything covered here. Let me see what else I have for you. Let's see what else I prepared. Well, I have to just let me get serious. I am really sad about this. I've been covering up my emotions. That's why I'm kind of out of it. You can tell I've been really rusty today. I found out yesterday while I was working on a set that someone died who was a really good business mentor to me. His name was Jim Niarchos, and he's pictured here on the right. Anyone that's listening, you may know him from 106.7 WYAY Atlanta Radio or WFOM 106.3 Atlanta Radio. He was the co-host of a show called the All Four Seasons Home Show. And he was just a really nice person, a big supporter. He sent me a lot of business. I worked at Cumulus Media for about 5 years as an ad executive selling ads for 6 Atlanta area, huge radio stations. And I courted him from a small radio station where his show, All Four Seasons Home Show, which is basically like a home fix-it show. It airs Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. I said, how would you like to be on a huge station with a 77,000 watt signal where you'd reach a lot more people and get more results? And, oh, by the way, his co-host there is Dan Watkins. He's the owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. And they got a great response to those ads. But he was just such a nice guy. We went to a lot of Braves games together in the VIP right behind home plate sections. Oh, man, I'm just shocked that he died. He died, ironically and sadly, on his 70th birthday of a heart attack while he was at home. So I couldn't believe when I got the news. His funeral is this Monday. in Marietta at the Greek Transfiguration Church at noon on August 4th. So rest in peace, Jim Niarchos. I'll never forget you. He had a great voice too. He liked to voice radio commercials, and I used his voice whenever I could back at Cumulus Media in the Atlanta market number 7 in the country. So that really, really made me sad. Now, some other nostalgia news, and Al was going to come on. Al Hardy and I, we used to produce his All Four Seasons home show. I'd be in the studio with Al. Al would run the board, and with Dan and Jim and their guests. And every show that they taped, they would tape 2 back-to-back a week. And because it wasn't live when it would air because of guests. These guests are business owners, right? So they would travel, they have to take time out of their busy lives and busy work schedules to be a guest on the show. It just wasn't feasible to do it live. But anyway, Al Hardy produced it, meaning he's running the board. I think I'm repeating myself. I'm just still so shocked that he died. Such a nice guy. And he hired this comedian buddy, Jim Gossett, to do he's a comedian, a live comedy show at his home on his birthday a few years ago, I think 5 years ago. So that would have been his 65th birthday. So I can't believe he's gone. He was a big ally, and I'm so sorry. And what a character. Look at him in that hat. Really big Greek personality. He turned me on to Greek food and the Marietta Greek Festival. I could just go on and on and on, but he was just such a nice man and a funny guy too. And we went to concerts together. And all right, so enough said. No one probably. Thank you, Joe Gutfeld. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, I'm really upset about it because he was just such a cool, interesting person. He was a former wrestler too. So rest in peace. Let me change the subject before I get emotional. It was announced that Eddie Murphy is going to be the new Inspector Clouseau in the new Pink Panther movie. And of course, Peter Sellers was the original Inspector Clouseau. And then you had Steve Martin playing Inspector Clouseau. I think I am all in favor of this. I think that Eddie Murphy will do a fantastic job. No pun intended. I keep thinking fantastic because of Fantastic Four. But I think he'll do an awesome job because he's one of my favorite comedians and comedic actors of all time. And many people don't know he can sing awesomely. He could do a great Michael Jackson impression. He sang She's Out of My Life, I think on Delirious, one of his comedy records way back in the day in the early 1980s. And he sang with Rick James, Party All the Time. He had a solo album. In fact, I was in a grocery store the other day and that song came on the PA at a Kroger grocery store. And I said to the cashier, singing that song? And she goes, no, I don't know. And she guessed, I think she guessed Michael Jackson. I said, no, that's Eddie Murphy. She goes, no way. And this was an older African-American woman. I said, yeah, that's Eddie Murphy. He did the song in 1986, Party All the Time with Rick James. Music video, the whole 9 yards. And I think it never was number 1 on the charts, but it charted pretty highly as a single. But anyway, so I'll see what he does as Inspector Clouseau. That's one of my favorite comedic characters ever. And as I said to our guests, in case you turned in late, August 1st was National Pinball Day, but I have a great clip because something else happened today in history on August 1st as we're live. And I have a clip. And here it is. There was a big cable network that debuted on August 1st, 1981. Of course, you know what I'm talking about, but here's the first 1 minute and 22 seconds of this cable network's existence. Here it is.
A few seconds away from switching to the redundant sense sequencer. T-minus 27 seconds. We have gone for redundant set sequencer start. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15, 14, 13. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start.
I better cut that right there. So happy 44th birthday to MTV. And Joe watching in New York says MTV is so overrated. I liked it in the beginning because I remember when HBO Video Jukebox hit in 1981, and I watched it all the time. Once a week, they'd have the latest music videos before MTV launched because it was really popular on HBO. And it was good. That was back when they played music videos, you know. That was before the Real World and the reality TV shows took over. So some other news. Oh, I meant to pull this picture up for you. This is a wild one. Another thing that happened on August 1st. Let me get my picture loaded up. Oh my God, I'm having all sorts of problems technically today. Let me get that picture. It was on this day that a particular wedding happened that blew everyone's mind. Any guesses out there? There was a I mean, look, love is love, right? And I believe that. But this was an odd couple. I'm talking about the marriage of Michael Jackson, whom I just spoke about when I talked about Eddie Murphy playing Clouseau, and Lisa Marie Presley. Yes, it's true. It's true. On Monday, August 1st, 94 rather. On Monday, August 1st, 1994, Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley announced that they had been married 11 weeks earlier in the Dominican Republic. Talk about an odd couple. And that reminds me, I was going to talk about interesting odd marriages where, like, Liza Minnelli marrying a man who's obviously not a heterosexual. I mean, I don't understand unless it's a fan thing. Maybe he just put her on such a high pedestal as a fan of hers that she just got off on the attention or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so that was an interesting one from August 1st, 1994. My God, that was 31 years ago. Can you believe that? How time flies. In other news, because I like Sylvester Stallone, it was announced officially that Tulsa King Season 3 is going to premiere on Paramount Plus on September 21st. It's a day after my dad's birthday. So I'm looking forward to that because I love the show. There was a heavenly birthday. I don't have the picture, but Ted Cassidy was born. This is back in July. He was born on Sunday, July 31st, 1932. I can't do it. The original Lurch on the Addams Family. You know how tall he was? He was 6 feet 9 inches tall. Let me get this picture. I want to have a visual aid talking about him really quickly. Let's see here. Bump, bump, bump. Let me load it up. Because I got some interesting stuff to tell you about him. God dang it. Let me take that off of there. This is one of my, let me see here. Delete that. Yeah, delete it. Hey, here is an interesting picture I feature on the Nostalgic Podblast blogs and the Facebook group, but I haven't really showed it on the show. Anyone that's watching the show, you might be listening to the show. It's a picture of Ted Cassidy, the original Lurch and Addams Family, reading to his children from the 1960s. So you can see it there. So I want to say happy heavenly birthday to 6 foot 9 inch tall actor Ted Cassidy, who was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on Sunday, July 31st, 1932. And of course, he's best known as Lurch in the original TV series, The Addams Family. And in this picture with his kids, this is from 1965, reading to his kids, Sean and Cameron. The story was Horton Hears a Who, written by Dr. Seuss, published in 1954 by Random House. That's the book he's reading to him. Ted Cassidy sadly died at the age of 46 on Tuesday, January 16th, 1979, from complications from a tumor in his heart. Happy heavenly birthday to Ted Cassidy. And he was in the original Star Trek, the voice of the Gorn, lizard creature that Kirk fought in the Arena episode of season 1 of original Star Trek. He was in What Are Little Girls Made Of with the luscious actress who played Andrea, Sherry Jackson, and he had a skull cap on. He was in Lost in Space that same season. This was the season after The Addams Family was canceled after 2 seasons on ABC. You saw him for the first time in full color on Lost in Space and Star Trek. You know, I'm wondering which aired first, the What Are Little Girls Made Of or the Lost in Space episode. He was in an episode titled The Thief of Outer Space with Malachi Throne. He played Malachi Throne's slave in that episode. Let me look that up. I never knew when that aired. When was the first time we saw him in color of those two shows? He was in Westerns too. I bet he was in a Western before either of these, but in terms of the two big sci-fi shows, let's see. The Thief from Outer Space, which I have on 16mm film, mint color, aired on November 9th, 1966. November 9th, 1966. So when did the Star Trek episode air, What Are Little Girls Made Of, where he played the android Ruck? Well, let's see. I got it right here at my fingertips. October 20th, 66. So Star Trek beats Lost in Space in terms of the sci-fi shows. Okay, cool. And he was a monster in that too. So I consider that the first time we saw him in color, because he's a monster in the Addams Family, and he was an android monster in the original Star Trek. So let's see what else I got for you. I just can't tear myself away. Found a real nice picture of Larry Hagman that I want to share with you. I'd never seen his hair looking like this. It's kind of wavy. This is from the 1950s. And Larry Hagman was born on September 21st, 1931. He died, that was a Monday. He died on Friday, November 23rd, 2012. He's one of my favorite actors. Let me show you this picture. I'm trying to load the image real quick. Wait for it. Here it comes. This is Larry Hagman. I have never seen, I'm sorry, listeners, it's very visual, but what can I say while this is loading? Here it is. There's the picture, and I'm watching on YouTube Live or Twitch or Facebook Live or Twitter. I think that's a great shot of him. He looks like my friend Hunter Golson in his younger years, but that predates Idris Magini, certainly predates Dallas, but he was just a real handsome young man. And of course, Mary Murphy was his mom, Broadway actress, right? And in terms of how old he was when he passed away, let me see, when he died in 2012, I will tell you. Just a second. I have some good news to report about StreamYard, the software. Any content creators out there? They must have listened to me and the many others that complained with their recent upgrade, because you now can move the videos. Anyone that remembers me complaining and bitching about the fact that I can't move my clips to show them in the proper order, or my photos, well, they fixed that. So thank you to StreamYard for doing that. It's nice that somebody listens to the customer. He was Larry Hagman, 81 when he passed away. He died in Dallas, Texas. He was born in Fort Worth, Texas. And let me just make sure of one thing before I move on here. Mary Martin. I said Mary Murphy. I knew I screwed that up. Mary Murphy was an actress, as was his mother. Larry Hagman's mother was Mary Martin, who was a Broadway actress and musical comedy star after he was born. His father was Benjamin Jackson Hagman, who was of Swedish descent, and he was an accountant and a lawyer who worked as a district attorney. But his parents divorced in 1936 after he was born in 1931, when he was just 5 years old. He lived with his maternal grandmother, Juanita Presley Martin, in Texas and in California, while his mother became a contract player with Paramount Pictures in 1938. And that's all I got to say about that. And one more happy heavenly birthday to Nichelle Nichols. Actually, well, I don't like to use this term, but it's a remembrance of her death day. She sadly died on July 30th, 2022. Of course, she was Uhura in Star Trek. So I just want to mention that, because she was definitely groundbreaking. And on my YouTube channel, The Nostalgic Podblast, I shared a videotape I found. I found a videotape of June Lockhart from 30 years ago, and Billy Mooney and one of the actresses, Rosemarie from the Dick Van Dyke Show, had a little bow in her hair on the Mike and Maddie Show, a show that predates The View. It aired in the View's time slot, 11 a.m. Monday through Friday on ABC. And on this same tape, I found a local ad for the OJ verdict, and it just shows key moments of the trial. It's like only 30 seconds long. And then there's also a funny parody of the Menendez brothers. That's also a parody of the Patty Duke Show theme by Sid Raymond. It's on my YouTube channel. Just look for thumbnail image. Anyone listening, Google search the Nostalgic Podblast, and then you'll see the YouTube channel. Click that, and then in videos, you'll see a picture of O.J. Simpson and with the words "The Verdict." If you watch that, I think you'll get a kick out of this Menendez brothers parody. It's kind of timely because they've been back in the news trying to get out of jail, but those bastards murdered their parents. I hope they never get out, but that's just my opinion. Okie dokie, Smokey. So, all right, I think I'm gonna finally sign off. I just want to make sure I showed everything. I showed the Donnie Marie record player. That this is the one my sister had. There's a photo of her with it. I'm going to find and share with you guys on the channel. Oh, and I didn't give this movie update, so I screwed up. This is dated by now, but the Fantastic Four First Steps opened with $218 million worldwide. That's pretty impressive. So I'm glad the movie's doing very well, as is Superman, starring David Corn Sweat over on the DCU side. I'm just giving a quick scan. Okay, I've shown all the photos I'd prepared, and make sure I got all the clips in. Nope, there was one I did forget. I want to play another clip of JT, the man in the seats, reviewing, because I said I'd show it earlier. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Let's watch this. Just a minute, 47 seconds long.
Oh, this is Movie Reviews by JT, and I got another review for you. I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is a legacy sequel to the original 1997 film. It had Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. Returning to reprise their roles from the original film. This film was great. Not as good as the 97 film. Couple of flaws. I didn't like the twist they had did, but the violence was over top crazy and everything. There's also a big credit scene at the end that also sets up for a sequel. I had a good time watching that. And everything, and it had a couple of flaws in it and everything, and it was great to see Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. back, reprising their roles and everything with the new characters. The new characters are fine and everything and stuff, and this could have been a little bit better, yes, and everything, and I give I Know What You Did Last Summer a 7 out of 4. So that's my review for I Know What You Did Last Summer. All right, bye.
A 7 out of 4. Wow. I think it meant 4 out of 7, but most people have a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, and I'm not judging. That's different, and I like that. Different's good. All right. Well, final thought is again about Jim Niarchos. I already said enough, but now it's looking like I may not be able to attend his funeral, which I hate not being able to do. So I'm just giving my remembrances here, and I'll next time when Al Hardy's better from the sinus infection, we'll just briefly, maybe for 10 minutes, talk about him and what he meant, especially to me. But I'm sure Al has some memories too, and I'll have like a proper send off, outro music showing his image, a different picture with some appropriate music. But I'm going to sign off with the traditional Louis Roy. That's ROI is how you spell his last name. His composition of the American Space Giants theme. But God bless you, Jim Niarchos. I know you're in heaven if there is a heaven, and you're a man of deep faith with the Greek Orthodox Church, and I'll do my best to be there to send you off, my friend. I'm just shocked. But we'll say goodnight, and I'll see you next time on a more happy and upbeat Nostalgic Podblast. I want to thank the guests, Open by Chance Toys of the Open by Chance YouTube channel. That's David Eon and Lady Pop Hunter. Look for them at a convention of the conventions we talked about. They're really nice people, and they do play off each other really well. And I hope to see them at a convention really soon and tour their fabulous toy museum once it's up and running. I meant to mention them. I remember there was a toy museum here in Atlanta we would take field trips at long time ago in the 80s when we were kids. It was so cool. There was actual toy museum. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it was a lot of fun. Well, as I like to end the show with, please be safe out there and don't let no dragons get you. Thanks to the Power Mods, Keebler No Sugar Dating Code, Keebler No Sugar Coding the Truth. And don't forget about Remind Magazine's offer, where you can get a full year of Remind Magazine with a special introductory rate of just $12. That's 10 issues, including 2 double-size issues. Go to remindmagazine.com. Their wheelhouse is the 1950s to the 1990s, just like Lady Pop Hunter, in terms of their articles and their puzzles and their games and their comic books. And here is not the latest issue, but it pertains to the summer, and we're still, as we're live, in the summertime. There's the latest issue of Remind Magazine, the summer block, not the latest one, I'm messing up. That is one of the latest issues of Remind Magazine covering the summer blockbusters. And the next year it's $24, which is still a steal because the cover price is $6 if you were to go to a Barnes & Noble. Many newsstands still are around, and you can find Remind Magazine on those newsstands. But the best thing to do is subscribe because you'll get it for about less than $1 an issue. If you divide 10 by 12, let's see. No, that's more. It's still a lot less than $6. See, I'm making all sorts of errors as we're live here. Hang on. Divided by 10. That's $1.20 an issue. Simple math, Chance. But I love this issue. I want to show you the actual current one, which is right behind me. And it features Donny Osmond. Showed a clip of him because I thought in that particular clip in the eyes, he looked like our guest David Eon a little bit. But where are they now is the current issue as we're live. Doesn't matter because most people listen to the show long after the fact, or they see it long after the fact. But it's a great gift. People will think of you all year long, and they'll think you spent a heck of a lot more than just $12. And that's out the door, including tax, including postage. So go to remindmagazine.com, check them out. Or you can give them a call old school. Thanks, Keebler, for putting the number up. The phone number is 855-773-6463 to order, and you'll get a human being, not a bot, and they accept all major credit cards. Just $12. 855-773-6463. And please mention the Nostalgic Podblast when ordering. All right. Now I'm going to finally sign off with Louis Roy, his rendition of the American Space Giants theme. I think only David Eon remembers the Space Giants if he's still watching. Good night, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on the Nostalgic Podblast. And thanks also to Joe Gutfeld. The Blu-rays will be here Monday, and I'll get them off to you. I'm sending him as a gift the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 Blu-ray, which I ordered for him, and the 3-hour, 8-minute cut of Superman the movie, which is deemed the 3-hour TV version in widescreen. So you'll have a nice double feature. And he told me offline he's never seen either one of them. Watch those together. That's over 5.5 hours of entertainment. And I think you'll really enjoy it, Joe. So be patient. I'll mail them out as soon as I get them. I predict Monday they'll be here. I checked tracking. They're both on the way. They've actually been shipped out. They're not just sitting at somebody's house with a label printed. They're actually in the mail system, U.S. Postal Service. So I'll get those out to you, buddy. Most likely Monday night or Tuesday. Okay. And Keebler said, oh, yeah, true. Unless they listen to your show or watch your channel, then people will know how much they spent on that gift. But think about it. What a great birthday gift, right? Remind Magazine, or a graduation gift, depending on what time of the year you're listening or watching the show in. It's just an awesome magazine, family friendly, well written, great pictures, full color. They're awesome. And hey, to Cindy D Joe Gutfeld says, good night, Chance Bartels. That's me. Well, good night to you, and we'll see you next time. Good night.